Good day, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is Viper of Viperland, and I'm back here in Great Ace Attorney. It's been a few weekends because I've just been busy, and Sundays tend to be those days, don't they? But we're back, even though we're not going to be playing it next weekend because I'll be at a con. But whatever, it's fine. I'll see if I remember where we were, what we were doing, and any of the voices I gave in the characters. Also, hey Birdie, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. Hope you're having a good weekend. Hope you caught at least a few shinies today. Yes, we were Barker Road. Also, hot damn. Yeah. Thank you so much. Ooh, you caught a two shake fish. You might have a decent fish there. That's a fish worth a lot of gold. There you go. And something nobody else has caught yet. So, brand new fish. Congratulations. You caught a new fish. But also thank you for the tech in tier 3, obviously. 76 months tier 3. Hot diggity damn. Hope you're still enjoying Viperland and good news and good times. And yeah, I hope your burn heals pretty quick too. I got burnt last week. It wasn't bad because it was really overcast all day, but I also definitely got burnt last week. So I feel you. Even though I was only out the one day, I did a lot of that one day. Did not get a shiny Espeon or Umbreon. My brother got both. He got a shiny Umbreon with a scarf and Espeon with a scarf. So, I don't know if I'm talking to my brother anymore. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, he got really lucky on that. He got both. A little envious. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. He got both, but he didn't get a duplicate, so he wouldn't trade one. Because, I mean, if I didn't have a duplicate, I wouldn't trade one either. It looks as though the police are still here, carrying on with their investigation. Perfect. So let's find Inspector Gregson as quickly as possible. Yes, and let's see if he'll take a break from his chips to look at that silver tip Iris gave us for him. Oh, hey, there he is. It's Mr. Infinite Fish and Chips. Very handy and super hard to have. Okay, so what do we have? Map. Yeah, there you go. This is a 5-shilling piece, isn't it? I believe it's called a crown. Yes, you can train a Scotland Yard detective to do whatever you want with just a single one. Iris must be the most powerful 10-year-old in the world. How much is 5 shillings, by the way? What's it really worth? Well, it's probably enough to buy all the chips the inspector could possibly eat in a whole month. That's greasy. Yes, thank you. Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem. Iris's little handwriting is adorable, isn't it? Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem. Yes, the handwriting might be adorable, but the message is ominous. There's no room for sentiment there. I'm sure it's simply the way you're interpreting it, Mr. Naruto. Anyway, I do hope the inspector will tell us what we need to know when he reads it. I don't think it would just make him munch piping hot chips until steam comes out of his ears, do you? Well, it wouldn't be an entirely terrible outcome. I don't remember the voice I gave for the inspector. So, cool. Definitely do not remember. Yeah, we had to show it to him. Inspector Gregson, do you have a moment? What voice did I get? I don't remember. It was like 4 weeks ago. Also, do I have a spot on my paper? Okay. I'm sorry to say I don't. I'm a very busy man. Much too busy to talk to a pair of foreign gadabouts, that's for sure. We have these for you. A present from Miss Iris Wilson. What? For me? Oh, her ladyship, was that? Oh, hold on. History. From her ladyship, yeah. Her ladyship. Give that here at once. Come on, hand it over. That's for me. Don't wait for me to give it to you, will you? What was that coin exactly? Silver crown, obviously. But it's a lot more than that. It's, well, it's an appearance fee. That's what it is. Appearance fee? Oh, I see. You mean... That's right. The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes. The ladyship always offers me a little financial reward for featuring me, every time. Yes, yes, of course. I know all about your exploits, Inspector. I read them avidly. Of course, using my name without my say-so does make me the butt of a lot of unpleasant jokes, but still. Wish I had infinite chips. The infinite fish, maybe not so much, but the chips, yeah. Sorry, Inspector, that must be difficult for you. Never you mind that. So, what do you want to know then, eh? Sorry? Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust there won't be a problem, he says. Well, obviously it's not a problem. Go on, fire away. What do you want to know? Well, wouldn't mind, Inspector. We'd very much like to know the address of Mr. Natsume's lodgings. Ah, the little knife-wielding mustache Japanese fellow. He lives in a right old hovel. It's just over there. Look. It's been 30 billion years. It's been like 3 weeks, so. First floor of that house in the corner where that wreck of a bicycle's propped up. It is a wreck of a bicycle. It is nearby indeed. If I remember rightly, the landlord is a Mr. John Garidib? Right, well. If you see her again, you make sure to give her ladyship my regards, you hear? I mean it, you tell her that Gregson sends his very best wishes. Don't worry, Inspector, we will. Goodbye for now, then. And long live her ladyship. Okay. That's true, it might as well be. Considering things come and go in like 5 minutes internet time, yeah, that checks out. Well, at least he told us what we wanted to know before he left. Yeah, so then, shall we go and see what we can find in Mr. Natsume's lodgings? Definitely. The location has been added. Alright, go check his... Alright. 19th February, Mr. Natsume's lodging. Hello. May I help you? Ah, yes. Would this be the residence of Mr. John Garidib? Indeed it would, sir. And who may I say is calling? My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Mr. Naruhodo is representing Mr. Soseki Natsume. I believe he takes lodgings here. I'd very much like to ask him some questions about our client. One moment, please. I shall convey the message to Mr. Garidib. Did you see that, Miss Usada? That's real life English maid. No, as I understand it, anyone of standing in English society employs a number of household staff. That was the first time I've ever seen one in the flesh. Oh, this day keeps getting better. It certainly feels like we've really arrived now, doesn't it? We need only to meet a butler, and then the experience will be complete. Well, not sure if I'd go that far, but I understand the sentiment. Thank you for waiting. Mr. Garidib will see you now. This way. Oh. That man's a moon. Okay. It's a full-size cannon. What's it doing in here? Oh my. It's real. I thought it might be a replica. That old thing? That's a little more than a toy. Sorry? The army was selling it off when I retired, so I decided to give it a new home. No, that's not a great voice for him. Too close to the... What is he... No, don't... No, no. No, no, don't. Don't stir your tea with your pipe. Ew. I never knew when the enemy might attack next. Jolly useful to have a cannon about the house. Really? It isn't overkill? Be prepared, I always say. You never know what this twisted world is going to throw at you next, boy. You think there might be trouble viewing, Mr. Garidib? Always is. Take Joan here. Never fails to have a clean apron in reserve. Drives them over the barrel, you see? They dry very well in the cannon there, Joan tells me, which rather proves my point, I feel. It's been reduced to a drying rack. No wonder the huge cannon looks like it's hanging its head in shame. I mean, he also has actual, like, artillery shells. This is dangerous. I notice you have a pile of books here, Mr. Garrett. Do you enjoy reading? Ever experienced a London winter, boy? The nights are long. No better way to pass the time than tobacco tea. In front of the fire with a jolly good book. Oh, there's a copy of Rant's magazine here, I see. No doubt Mr. Garrett enjoys the adventures of Sherlock Holmes, too. The great detective has a great many followers, it would seem. That uniform looks fairly ancient, doesn't it? Clearly been well looked after, though. That old thing? Bah, not much better than rags, really. Oh? That ceremonial garb at my retirement bash, you know. But I'm not one for dwelling on the past. Me would have gladly thrown it out, but you know how it is. Anyway, it doesn't hurt to have the old piece of memorabilia lying around, does it? Oh, let's see. Perhaps we should leave the past in the past. Looks like a Medal of Honor, and it's showcased in a very grand banner. Yes, it's displayed with some pride, I would say, although it bothers me that it's not straight. That old thing? Sorry. I should be glad to see the back of it, but the general would turn in his grave if I disposed of it. The wall's the best place for it. It keeps the bally thing out of my way. It's just been polished to shine by accident, I suppose? There appears to be an inscription on the medal itself. Look, let me see. It says, for distinguished participation. Sounds like the kind of honors you and I could be in line for. You sure tried. Well, one doesn't like to blow one's own trumpet, but I was given that for my time in the army. The time where you participated. Can't measure an officer by the number of medals to his name, of course. Common knowledge in military circles. Sure. Look at that enormous screen. Must have been put there deliberately, surely. Yes, it certainly seems like someone's trying to hide something from view. What could be behind it, I wonder? I'm going to have a very quick look. Just a little peek. Maybe let's not, Mr. Sato. I think the maid is going to head us off with a cup of tea. Alright, well, we can't look behind the curtain. Oh look! What a wonderful collection of cakes lined up in that gleaming silver cake stand. Lined up? Looks more like somebody has half demolished them to me. Afternoon tea is a time of indulgence, you know. It's quite the English way. It's Mr. Garrett's custom to take 2 cakes with his tea. That's delightful. Oh, wait a minute, though. There are at least 10 cakes on this cake stand. Oh, naturally, and it would never do to waste the leftovers. Whatever Mr. Garrett doesn't eat, I say to myself, Joan, you shall have to tidy up. How magnanimous of you. I mean, if he's not going to eat the cakes, I guess somebody's gotta. This old candle holder looks a little out of place here, wouldn't you say? Yes, you're right. It's clearly supposed to be gold, but it's almost completely black for some reason. That old thing, yes. Just a cheap piece of ironmongery. Gimcrack, really. Oh. Used it when I was studying, don't you know? For my commission. No, it's old, hardly worth hanging on to, really, but, well, still has its uses sometimes. Of course. Does everything in this room have some elaborate story behind it? Memories, Mr. Naruhodo. Memories. Elaborate stories. Look at this crockery on display here. It's rather unusual, isn't it? Oh my, a genuine London dresser. Isn't it delightful? Well, the shelves seem to be broken, and the crockery is... oh dear. It's in pieces. It really is. The word cracked wouldn't do that chinaware justice. I wonder. Perhaps the cannon was fired at it. No, it would be in way smaller pieces if that happened. Yes, probably something like that, but let's not delve too deeply here. Okay. Oh, no window. Then I think we might be good. This window looks over Briar Road, where a young woman was attacked. Oh yes, I can make out the policeman on the far side of the road investigating the crime scene. This is rather murky, isn't it? You can't see very clearly. Does this thing open at all, I wonder? I shouldn't underestimate the bitterness of London winter, sir. Sorry. As soon as you open that window, the tea will freeze in the pot. No Londoner would go opening windows at dusk in the middle of winter, I assure you. Yes. I promise you, nobody would ever open that window. Ever. And not winter, not now. Definitely not. Seems very unlikely that these two would have seen anything of the incident. Yes, she's lying. I mean, they did portion off a whole bit of the wall. That's fine. Alright. Good day to you. John Gerardub at your service. Nice to meet you, sir. This is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. He's a defense lawyer. Excuse me not getting up. Took a shot to the knee a few years back in the Battle of Maywand, don't you know? Earned a medal for my pains, but had to withdraw from service. Handed over the reins to the up-and-coming. He's a retired soldier. Hell of a job getting up and down stairs now, I can tell you. Don't get out much, as you can imagine. Yes, it's quite a climb up here to the second floor, isn't it? I was panting at the top of the stairs. You really must take more exercise, Mr. Naruhodo. Do you think so? Well, Mr. Gerardub, no doubt you were very courageous to earn yourself a medal. Oh, it was nothing. The medal's just a folderol, really. Wouldn't like to offend the general, though, so I grudgingly displayed it on the wall. How did you fetch it down, Joan? Let these good people see it properly. Joan? Fetch it. Ah! Dash it all, woman. Be careful. Oh, dearie me, I do beg your pardon, sir. Oh, hot tea straight on the crotch? No thanks. You jolly nearly took the skin off my hands, and other places. I shall be more careful, sir. So anyway, there you have it. Living the quiet life now. Yes, I see. Now then, here you want to know about the chap lodging downstairs, is that right? Yes, we would be very grateful if you could answer some questions for us. Only too pleased, naturally. Especially if it helps to keep the peace here in Blighty. It forged an alliance with the Empire of Japan recently, as I'm sure you're aware. But this case is very much in the public eye, as it were. Oh, is it? You had some famous detective poking around, you know. In this old house, would you believe? Yes, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Could have been. Didn't catch the chap's name. Not really my cup of tea, all that detective business. You literally oh, well, he has the thing. He has the magazine that is published in here. That doesn't necessarily mean he reads. Still weird. Oh, but you have a copy of Rant's magazine here, so... no, Anyway, the chap's investigating the foreigner's room as we speak. He's in Soseki-san's room. Don't tap it to get all the more tobacco out. It's a barely nuisance is what it is. The whole neighborhood's twitching in its curtains now. All this fuss. It's jolly unsettling. Yes, good old British. Keep calm and carry on. I can enjoy some tea, though I don't know if it's fully... Alright. I guess we start from the top, why not? About Mr. Natsume then, Mr. Gerardub, please do tell us. Ah yes, the Japanese chap. Only been lodging here for a week. Oh, just 1 week? So we moved in very recently then. 2 lodgers most of the time, one on the ground floor and one just below us. The first floor room became available a week ago, you see. Ah! Dash it all, Joan. Do be careful. Oh my goodness, I'm terribly sorry, sir. If you want to know my opinion, I mean... Yeah, it's so disgusting, right, Grim? Also, hey, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. Yeah, no, it's disgusting. He absolutely stirs it with his pipe. Like, I thought he was a shady sort from the moment I set eyes on him. Oh? Why? He seemed to have a most nervous disposition. He's always shaking and looking over his shoulder. Good. Oh, hell yeah. I have made 0 progress since the last time it's come up. I've been playing, obviously, 14, but also trying V Rising again, so have not made much progress. Which is a shame, because again, had fun with it. Will play more of it, but, you know. Glad it's going well. Hopefully you got some strong units, too. Honestly, my biggest drive to play more of it is just seeing more of the animations. Being just bananas, always. The man had shady written all over across his sweat-soaked brow, if you ask me. Said to myself, Joan, that man is trouble. Sooner or later he's going to do something untoward. Rarely wrong about anything. We won't be calling this maid as a witness, that's for sure. But we won't be. Is there anything else that struck you suspicious about the man at all? Yes, oh yes, indeed there was. And she's dying to tell us. Sometimes you just gotta gossip, you know? Going by to herself that, yeah, I missed that bit of it. But yeah, no. It's fine. At least he gets his entire lower half burned by scalding hot tea every once in a while. Did you notice anything else at all about your lodger, Mr. Natsume? Oh my word, yes, the man was shadier than an orchard. Could you elaborate? Oh, take the man's room. Absolutely stuffed full of books it is, more than anyone could ever read. Oh yeah, nothing's more suspicious than knowledge. Never so much as passes the time of day with another living soul. Haven't seen a single visitor call. Just trots off to that old book he kept every single day, comes back at 5 to light the gas fire. And the funny little man is up long past the time everyone else in the house has gone to bed too. I see. Ah, stop, dude. Gentleman on the ground floor goes to bed at around 9 each night. I've never known the Japanese fella to retire any earlier than 2 in the morning. Ah. Can you clarify something, I wonder? What, pray? How do you know so much about Mr. Natsume's routine? I understood that neither of the lodgers live on this floor of the house. Is that correct? That's right, yes. They're both below us, on the first floor in the street level. Then, how is it that you know so much about the lives of your lodgers? The precise times that they come back in the evening, for example. Even the times they go to bed. Yeah, every time she's got something to hide or she wants him to shut up, burn his crotch with tea. Good grief, Joan, be more careful, woman. Goodness, sir, I'm terribly sorry, sir. Something doesn't add up here. Yeah. They're really good at avoiding answering questions. Seems that the incident took place at around 5 in the evening. Did you happen to look out of the window at around that time? Window? Yes, we noticed that the window over there looks out over Briar Road. The incident took place on the pavement just on the far side of the street. Was there anyone suspicious loitering nearby? 5 o'clock is dinner time in the Garrett household, so I'm afraid I don't remember seeing anything. How about you, Joan? No, sir, it would have been dusk outside already at that hour. With the fog as well, I should think it would have been quite impossible to see the other side of the road. Oh, I see. You notice anything else out of the ordinary then? Such as? Anything at all, even if it seems unrelated. Well. Yes? Was there something then? Well, it's nothing particularly significant, but around that sort of time in here, there... Ah! No. For the love of God, Joan, watch what you're doing! Hearing me, what have I done? I'm awfully sorry, sir. Do be more careful, woman. Of course, sir. I may, Mr. Naro Hollow. Oh, yes? I have an exceedingly good memory, and as far as I remember, nothing of any significance took place here at that hour. Nothing at all. These two may be some of the shadiest characters in recent memory. Oh, really? Mr. Garrett? The way you were talking before, it sounded rather like there might have been. Well, as I was saying, it was just a trifling matter, really. Nothing of a... Yeah. Joe, dash it all! What is the matter with you, woman? Begging your pardon, sir. Nothing happened. Yes, quite. Nothing happened. We sat down to a quiet, uneventful meal. Joan? That's right, Mr. Garrett. What's the matter with these two? Sounds like something happened here in this room on the evening of the incident, but what? Wish I knew. Well, could you tell us which floor Mr. Natsume's room is on? Well, certainly, just below us on the first floor. And Mr. Sholmes is investigating there even as we speak. Yes, told me Natsu's name, had asked him to look into the matter, so I gave him the key. Mr. Natsume has engaged Mr. Sholmes' services? It's a blatant lie. Would it be alright if we also had a look around in Mr. Natsume's room, I mean? Don't see why not. Just down one flight of stairs. Who knows if we'll find anything that could help us with the case, but we have to try. We need all the clues we can lay our hands on, shall we? To the downstairs, yes, and while we're there, we can speak with Mr. Sholmes again. Perhaps he'll be able to tell us more. Alright, well, you guys are weird. Goodbye. Aw, he's got a lot of books and a cat. February, Mr. Natsume's room. Let's look at this place. Smell it. It's so musty in here. Suppose it's the mountains of old books that are responsible for that. I don't think I've ever seen so many books in all my life. No, me neither. It's so dark in here, too. Is that the window over there? Well, it was the window, I think, yes. Once upon a time. For some reason it's been closed up with bricks and mortar. So this is where Mr. Natsume lives. By the way, I haven't spotted Mr. Sholmes anywhere, have you? No, that's true, but according to what Mr. Garrett told us, the detective should be around here somewhere investigating. He's either crumbled under some book somewhere, or he's like on the ceiling out of nowhere. Look at all these books stacked up there. They almost reach the ceiling. All works of English literature. They all smell so musty. This volume of books to hand, you'd never be short of reading material, would you? No, what a dreamy idea. Bad dream, maybe. Me, at least. Mind you, I don't imagine the book that's at the bottom of the pile now will ever be read again. So reading it is an experience that comes but once in a lifetime, just as the tea ceremony teaches us. Certainly didn't expect the conversation to turn down the path of tea ceremony philosophy. Who could? Oh look, it's a beckoning cat from home. It's a bit big and bulky, isn't it? Surely Mr. Natsume didn't bring that Maneki Neko all the way from Japan with him. I hardly think you're in a position to comment, Mr. Naruhodo. Are you forgetting the enormous Daruma doll that you brought in your luggage? Well, it'd be dangerous traveling abroad. I wanted a lucky charm. I imagine Mr. Natsume wanted the same. This cat is sure to beckon good luck to him. It's not doing a very good job so far, is it? It doesn't say such things, or think them. I didn't say a word. Why are my eyes such a giveaway? Ah, yeah, that's what it is. Clearly. All in the eyes, you can tell every time. Do wish there was some background music here, but, you know, whatever. Gotta do what you gotta do and drink the tea. The desk seems to be wedged into a crevice between the mountains of books on either side. Suppose Mr. Natsume would sit there and read while stroking his cat. But surrounded by on all sides by those towering old tomes, surely he dreamt of books every night as well. Yes, he must have done, mustn't he? Oh, what's this? It's a receipt from a second-hand bookshop. Your books. Oh yes, Mr. Natsume's name is on it. Look, and the date of purchase. 2 days ago at 4:45 p.m. It's the day of the incident. That's just a short while before he was embroiled in the terrible attack. He must have been on his way back from buying some old books. Second-hand book receipt has been added to the court record. Do you even call this a window? I think so. It was a window at one time, after all. Although all that remains is a frame around some bricks now. So really, it's just a wall then, isn't it? But why would anyone deliberately brick it up like that? Wait, I have no idea. Ah, perhaps Mr. Natsume painted the brick design on a fit of whimsy. Alarmingly feasible. Anyway, whatever the reason, the lack of ventilation in here makes the place very oppressive. It does. I imagine being cooped up in a room like this would be extremely trying. Aww. Please, kitty. Oh my, what an adorable little cat. Perhaps he's looking after all the books while his master is away. I don't know about that. He disappeared into that pile of books as quick as a flash. The tricolor Mikkei, wasn't it? Do they even have that sort of cat here in Great Britain? Perhaps Mr. Natsume brought the little creature with him from Japan. It makes me feel homesick now. Ready? We've only been in the country for 2 days. I mean, yeah, but homesickness can settle in quickly, I imagine. Oh. Well, look who has showed up. Ah, look, Mr. Naruhodo. Aha, there he is. Where did he appear from? Seems to be engrossed in the passages of an old book. We won't mind if we disturb him. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, you two, good day. Let me see, where was it that we met? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, we were together on the SS Bureau. Yes, of course, the Bureau. But let me see, what happened on that voyage? Kazuma Asogi, he died, tragically, but you were a great help to us. Ah yes, but of course, the case of Mr. Asogi. It was the one with the snake, wasn't it? Oh. Well, I seem to remember something of it at least. What an honor to be remembered vaguely by the great Herlock Sholmes. This is Mr. Oh, no, my dear madam, hold your tongue. I pride myself on my superior powers of recollection. Your names are safely recorded in my brain attic. Miss Naruhodo. And Mr. Susato. Try the other way around, Mr. Sholmes. So half animation is always good. Ah! I lose the first round. What a perfect memory on a perfect detective. In truth, I had hoped to invite you both to my Baker Street suite the day we arrived in London. But some Scotland Yarders ambushed me at the railway station and whisked me away to a crime scene. It was an entirely trivial case, of course. I solved the matter in no more than 30 minutes. So they apprehended Soseki-san in that short an amount of time? I'm afraid the pursuance of a new case has dulled my recollection of my past involvements a little. It is a mistake to think that one's brain attic has elastic walls that can distend to any extent. I do my best to forget useless facts, lest I should elbow out the useful ones. Yes, those are my own words of indomitable wisdom, you know, from an adventure titled A Study in Scarlet. Please, there's no need to quote yourself. I don't always remember my pearls of wisdom, but fortunately my associate pens them beautifully. His pirates, I suppose. Mr. Sholmes, we have some extremely important questions to ask you about the trivial case you just mentioned. Goodness, what an earnest expression. My dear madam, I should be only too pleased, and this murky room is an apt place to discuss the murky case. Oh. You know this to be the lodgings of a Japanese foreign student by the name of Soseki Natsume. Seems that you assisted in his arrest, Mr. Sholmes. The stabbing of a young woman outside here on Briar Road. Natsume, yes, I believe it was a name rather along those lines. Mr. Natsume denies it. Is it really justifiable to arrest him on so little? I'm sorry, Mr. Sato, but I have not the slightest idea what you mean. What? I can't believe he was looking Susato-san squarely in the eye while feigning ignorance. I assure you, I'm not merely feigning ignorance. It would appear as if the pair of you are under some misapprehension. How? I assure you have no recollection of accusing your astute compatriot of the crime. That doesn't make sense. The detective of Scotland Yard made the following request of me, and I quote verbatim. I need you to ascertain the identity and whereabouts of a man seen fleeing the crime scene. Ah, man seen fleeing. There were a number of books scattered on the pavement at the scene. From the book plates, I was quickly able to determine the bookshop from which they had been purchased. Speaking with the proprietor, I was immediately led to this address. Elementary, wouldn't you say? I believe there's a receipt around here somewhere from the establishment in question. So you don't think Mr. Natsume is the culprit then? That I could not tell you. It was aggravating my faculties, hence why I returned here. However, this place is such a trove of fascinating books, I find myself quite lost in bibliography. Do not be deceived into believing that I am a man of leisure. No, no, no. Dear. Definitely not leisure. Not him. Tell me. Have you encountered the landlord of these lodgings? Yes, Mr. Garrett, a retired military man. It's the first time I've ever met a soldier from the Great British Institution that is in the services. It's the first time I've ever met a maid from the Great British Institution that is service. I'm glad he enjoys the joke. I didn't think it was that funny. I do apologize. As you may well be aware, many households in London employ a maid. Yes, I read as much in my Great Britain primer. And so conversely, whether or not a household employs a maid has come to betoken the social standings of those dwelling therein. Betoken the social standing? Sorry. Put simply, my dear fellow, those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class. Those who do not are beneath that. In the upper echelons of society, of course, households employ enough staff to constitute a large family. Goodness, how extraordinary. As you can appreciate, for those on the precarious boundary between the middle and lower class, being able to afford just one maid is of the first importance. I had no idea. It is precisely for that reason that I find great stimulation in this situation upstairs. Specifically in the retired army veteran, Mr. John Garrett. Oh. Affable as he is, the fellow is hiding something. Whether or not imposed on me to see the circumstances of the case, I am as of yet unable to ascertain. Fairly lost on what he meant to say. This room is thoroughly suffocating with the soul, my dear fellow. I assure you, any man whose lot is to dwell in a place such as this will stab somebody sooner or later. Wow. You read a lot of books, you're gonna stab someone eventually. Mr. Natsume has stabbed no one. Ah, but sooner or later, as I said. I don't believe that's the issue here. About this dark little room, Mr. Sholmes. Why is there no longer a window? Do you have any idea? No window? Well, I mean, I can clearly see that there is a window of sorts. But it's been completely blocked with bricks. I see. The answer to that question is quite simple. Window tax. Window tax? What is that exactly? Surely not a tax on windows. Precisely that. Oh, goodness. Till relatively recently, a tax was levied on households in this country by the number of their windows. Those of lesser means, having inherited a sizable and costly family home pack, perhaps rather rapidly closed windows up. While the rich opened windows here, there, and everywhere. An effort to curry favor with those in power by furnishing them with large sums of tax money, of course. Wait, large sums of money, sure, but tax money? How awful and unjust, forcing people to live in rooms devoid of light. Indeed, disease was rife as a result. So some 40 years ago or thereabouts, the window tax was abolished. But its legacy remains, as you can see. It's squalid lodgings such as these, for example. I suppose Mr. Natsume's stipend for living here in London isn't very generous, perhaps. But here so, I've done a little digging. I discovered that these lodgings were offered at an extraordinarily low price. Is the room so awful, I should think? Apparently, Mr. Natsume only moved in here about 1 week ago. Yes, that's correct. Yes, that's correct. However, I believe the low rent is explained by the shabby nature of the accommodation. So, that is of a little relevance here. A matter not that worthy of further attention. Sure, I'm curious now. Well, I believe I've told you all I can now. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Is it not your intention to become a practitioner of law? You remember that, did you? Will you perhaps be offering your services in this very matter, I wonder? The occupant of this room, Mr. Natsume, was it? Oh, sure. Not sure? On what grounds? Well, I actually defended someone in court here only yesterday. Really? Well, then I congratulate you, sir, on an ambition realized, and so promptly, too. Thing is, it's really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients? To trust in their innocence? Yes, trust. Mr. Sholmes? Mr. Natsume didn't do it, did he? My dear fellow, I haven't the first idea. Oh, but that's why you were here. Didn't you come back to investigate? Ah, yes, that was indeed my initial intention. There are simply too many fascinating books here. I couldn't possibly ignore them. Oh, I see. Nevertheless, there are two facts that I can state quite unequivocally. The man who fled the scene of the crime 2 days ago was the Japanese occupant of this room, and the witnesses who swear to having seen the same man commit the crime. That's all I can say. Ah, and one more thing. Oh, what is it, Mr. Sholmes? Tell us. I cannot say with any certainty whether or not it is of relevance to this case, but I am quite sure that the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something. Yeah, no kidding. We don't know what, but he's definitely hiding something. Mr. Garrett, is it? Mr. Sholmes said as much before accidentally, didn't he? Anyway, at present, that is really all that plays on my mind in relation to the case. Mr. Naruhodo. As yet, our investigations have uncovered nothing that could help us establish Mr. Natsume's innocence. No, you're right. Perhaps it's time we probed a little deeper into Mr. Gerb's secret. Just remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove to be of relevance or not. But I wish you every success, of course, Mr. Naruhodo. Busy man indeed. He's gone back to his books in the corner of the room. Not sure what we're going to be in here, but 19th February, local prison cell night. Seems that we can't meet with Mr. Natsume at the moment. Oh. Being briefed about his appearance in court tomorrow, apparently. Let's see. Yes, the trial is only a day away. Alright then, let's come back later. Yes. I hope he's not answering any more questions with inappropriate textbook answers like, yes, I do. No. No, she does seem to comment. She said, we haven't been to this place in a while, have we? Okay. Little hints as to where to go. You pair again. Tell me, was the detective chap, I forgot his name, still hard at work down there? Mr. Herlock Sholmes? Yes, rings a vague bell. All that detective business isn't really my thing, I'm afraid. Well, Mr. Sholmes is in his element down there. Jolly good show. Another cup of tea, if you please, Sean. This poor guy, his hand and legs are just ruined. The upteenth time, woman, will you watch what you're folly well doing? She'll be serving dinner shortly, sir. Huh? Ah, yes, of course. You could have told me that without burning me. Frighteningly rude for me, but I'm afraid I shall have to ask you to take your leave, if you'd be so kind. Oh, yes, of course. I'm deeply grateful for all your assistance. No, not at all, not at all. I don't get much chance to talk with the young foreigners like yourselves. It's been a pleasure. Best of luck and all that. Perhaps you could see yourselves out. Going to Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Garrett was hiding something. And since no other adventurers I've investigated, and since no other avenues of investigation seem open to us at the moment, perhaps we should do some digging. Alright, well... Yeah, here ain't gonna help us any. No, back, back. Nothing there. Maybe he's back here? Nope. He's out. I need to spend a little more time investigating here. Gotcha, so I missed something. I guess we can try talking to them, but they did try to kick us out already. Can't examine this pipe. Can't go there. Oh. Wonder. Ah, what's he doing over there? Mr. Sholmes! Ah, we meet again, my dear fellows. Good gracious, when did you sneak in here? Alec Sholmes, sir, at your service. Whatever were you doing over by the window? I'm given to watching the evening sky as the sun sets, madam. Yet sadly, cheerful as the room downstairs undoubtedly is, it lacks an aperture for such observation. So I took the liberty of borrowing a small corner of space by the window up here. Well, keeping an eye on one's windows at dusk is the prudent thing to do in London, I'm gathering. And one other thing, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, me? I thought perhaps you might be in need. A certain great detective's great mind. Wait, he's not talking about... Is he... I didn't expect to be going through that again so soon. Do you mean Mr. Sholmes? There is a mighty secret in this modest room. My eyes see even the most trivial of trifles. Take it you're prepared, Mr. Naruhodo. I think so. There's just enough time for one of my greatly admired great deductions. Let us conclude the matter before dark. Yep. Mr. Garrett, it would seem you are a military man of considerable distinguished service. Your standing as a landlord is most certainly not what one might call first-rate. I'm afraid, sir, that it's all too clear to me. There are two conclusions I've been able to draw by careful observation of your living arrangements. I beg your pardon. The first is that even as we speak, you are concealing the presence of a ferocious beast in your care. And the second is that as a result of the beast's violent rampage, you have lost something very dear to you. Mr. Naruhodo, look! The old man's broken out in a cold sweat. Unbelievably, it seems Mr. Schoen's conclusions are both spot on. How? How could you possibly? How could I possibly know, you mean to inquire? The answer couldn't be simpler, sir. We're in the dense jungle of logic and reasoning. I am the king of beasts. Holmes, man. Ugh. Ugh. Of course. In the forest of logic and reasoning, you're the king of beasts. I'm gonna go blueberry time. Get some more. I did indeed not go today to get a haircut. I don't think I'm going to go tomorrow either. I think I might just go with the hair as it is. It's only slightly long for Alan Wake, and I think it's going to be fine. Part of me doesn't want to spend money to get a small trim now just to get an actual haircut after the con. Because I do want my hair shorter again. I do. Sunday, like as soon as the con is done on Sunday, I'm shaving it off. It's going to be so good. I'm going to be so happy. The hair, I'm not going to do myself. I'm going to go get it cut. But the beard, oh boy, I can't wait for that to be gone. I'm very excited to cosplay Alan Wake. But I'm also very excited to shave the beard. And I know only too well that wild beasts are not easily tamed. So, shall we begin? Once again, Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. It certainly shouldn't take a great detective to see that a fearsome beast has been on the rampage of late within these four walls. Thus, we are faced with the question, what form might this beast take? Ah, for a man with a military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. The furtive glance at Mr. Garrett leads us directly to the answer. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by the lion statue. Is it though? Yes, though an army man, you appear unimposing at best. A fact that has fueled your admiration for the mighty lion, the king of beasts. What is this piffle, I ask you? In the end, your admiration became so great, in fact, that you had a living, breathing specimen shipped from India, which you tried to keep in this very house. What? Oh, does he have a slap mark on his other side of his face? Yet living with such a wild beast proved more difficult than you had imagined. Chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well, yet as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madam? Me? I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it is plain to me with one glance in your direction. It is? Your breast pocket gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. Protruding from it is a handbill advertising a circus show. Yes, you sought to dispose of this terrifying lion, Mr. Garrett. At Batty's Circus, a traveling show currently sojourning in the nearby park. Observe the tents. You sold the savage lion, sir, to the circus troupe. I most certainly did not. I believe I have made my point. The fearsome beast which ran amok in this room was an Indian lion. And a simple visit to the circus now will reveal the lion prancing jubilantly through a ring of fire. Yes, that's definitely, yep. Now, Mr. Garrett, it is plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Indeed, in that blithe pose, the distress this loss has caused you is veritably tangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by that supporting arm. Amid the fits of tears, you let your beloved beast go. The strain of losing something so dear to you is clearly visible in your visage. Nonsense, man. I simply... What we must now ask ourselves is the true cause of this pain. We need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Damn, hiccups. Yes, it is this pile of bills that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Every envelope contains another demand for payment. 4 cartloads of meat, potatoes, wheat, and tea. Indeed, feeding your beloved has had a devastating impact on the financial circumstances of your household. And so you had no choice but to let it go. Yes, well, Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack. Unimaginable? The aftermath of which can be clearly seen by observing the carpet over there. Very expensive woolen carpet, if I am not mistaken. Dearie me. Who could have caused such a destructive outburst? This time, madam, I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. Your wandering eye has settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the Tower of Cakes. There is no creature more dangerous on this earth than a beast with an unsatiated appetite. Was it or was it not once said by a certain noblewoman, if they have no bread, let them eat cake? Food is at the heart of all tragedy. In fact, yes, every tragedy known to this world or otherwise can be blamed on food. All of it. Everything. It's all food's fault. Nothing else. Okay, thanks, Sholmes. Whatever do you mean? Having tired of the taste of cake, the beast began to stalk its next prey. I'm sure I need not spell out the nature of this final act of destruction carried out by the beast. There's only one logical conclusion. Worked into a frenzy by hunger, the lion attacked and ate the carpet. The teeth marks in the carpet are a perfect match with those of a lion I once saw in India. Jones, you are something else, man. Yes, those are lion teeth marks and not burn marks or any number of anything else types of marks. No. Lion teeth marks. This concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this beastly puzzle. I mean, that's fair. Every time, yes. What is the matter with you, Joan? You're pouring scalding hot tea all over me. Also, how much tea is in that teapot? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Garrett. I'm afraid I didn't notice. Yeah, clearly. My deductions can be startlingly sharp. It stands to reason that your cup runneth over. Indeed, my revelations can make people spill tears at times, too. Oh. Mr. Shone, sorry to butt in again, but can I make an observation? Why, certainly, Mr. Naruhodo. What is it, again? Well, your deductions just now... Do you really think a lion could have fit inside a room of this size? Indeed, it is the only explanation for the facts. The terrifying truth all too often lies beyond the realm of common sense. But wouldn't it be an idea to consider what lies inside the realms of common sense as well? But if an uncaged lion had run amok in this very room, surely Mr. Garrett and his maid would have been hurt, or worse. Ah, that's where you are stuck. No doubt the former military man held his own against the beast using that large cannon. They said they sold the lion to the circus. What about the food? Meat and potatoes are one thing. I don't believe I have ever heard of a lion that drinks tea. Well, they need this much tea because they keep pouring it over the lamb. It's his thing. He complains, but he's specifically asking her to do it. Ah, my dearest Miss Susato, it occurs to me with some regularity that irrespective of race and breeding, whenever anyone lands in Great Britain soil, they're infused with a highly appropriate taste for afternoon tea. Oh, what a glorious notion. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, your turn to shine again. I had a feeling that was coming. Slight massage, that's all Mr. Sholmes' deduction needs. You can do it. Excellent. I've been waiting for my trusty partner in deduction to step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. I don't even know yet whether or not this is going to help with Mr. Natsumi's case. Still, covering the truth is always worthwhile, whatever the motivation. At least, that's what I want to believe. Let's start again. From the beginning. Of Sherlock Sholmes. Logic and reasoning spectacular. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. Certainly shouldn't take a great detective to see. Yes, and beast. Here's the question. What form does the beast take? Eyes are candid. Your glance leads us directly to the answer. No! I really didn't see the lion thing coming. No, but if you observe Mr. Garrett's reaction, it never seems as though some beast did indeed run amok here in this room. It's something with a very fierce nature. It couldn't have been a lion transported from India. So what was it then? Let's follow Mr. Garrett's gaze. That'll lead us to the true answer. Not the lion statue. Mortar shells. I guess that's the only other option. Oh, mortar shell it is. These are shells for the cannon, are they? A strange place to keep them. Imagine they have some significance to Mr. Garrett from his time in the army. Of course, he mentioned a battle to us before, didn't he? Do you remember? He said that he'd been shot in the knee. Perhaps it's one of these that hit him. If one of those hit his knee, he would have no legs. Around that size hit his knee, there'd be nothing left of it, or Mr. Garrett for that matter. Sholmes has a Persian slipper. This man has spent shells. Perhaps it's customary in Britain to display, well, rubbish on the mantelpiece. Well, this is the lion statue that Mr. Sholmes picked out. Yes, no wonder. Perhaps if he did live with a lion, it would prove to be a rather sweet companion. I think it's like a mouse trying to tell its family that the cat around the house is sweet. Suppose it is a bit of a flight of fancy, isn't it? Anyway, the beast we're looking for is something else. Let's have a good look around. Gotta be the mortar shells just because there's nothing else.
Take that!
The true identity of the beast that tore this room apart is these shells. But their butter wouldn't melt accomplice the cannon. War is good for nothing. It brings only destruction. Something we must all strive to understand. What spectacularly contrived logic led you to this mindless conclusion? Oh, well, supposed to be a logic and reasoning spectacular, so thought I'd contribute to the show. This is my show, Mr. Naruhodo. Kindly perform any peculiar experiments on your own. Oh, did we... sorry. Alright, well... There's nothing else to... Oh, clearly got it wrong. Well, what we do know with some certainty is that a destructive creature has been at work in this room. Mr. Garrett was inadvertently looked in the direction of something gives its identity away. Yes, if we investigate thoroughly enough, we ought to find the answer. What did Mr. Garrett turn to look at? It's here somewhere, simply need to find it. Alright, well, now that I know you can't save here. What's this photograph? It appears to be from Mr. Garrett's wedding. He looks very happy, doesn't he? He does, but you can't make out his bride. No, how unfortunate. Something must have struck the glass directly over the woman's face. I don't know what happened. Probably best not to delve too deeply there. The glass is broken, so you can't see the bride's face at all. No amount of cracks could hide the woman's plump form. I think powerful would be kinder than plump, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, she certainly looks that. There's a lot of horsepower there. Not someone you'd want to upset, that's for sure. But look, have you noticed her wedding ring? It's very large, isn't it? Yes, it's an unusual design. It's like some sort of embellished sunflower. This must have been when Mr. Garrett was still in the army. He used to be carrying his rather stout bride effortlessly and beaming a smile at the same time. I suppose he was very strong in his younger years. Hard to imagine now, he's as thin as a rake. I mean...
Take that!
The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that newlywed bride. Precisely, Mr. Naruhodo. No other explanation could possibly fit. Yes, this framed print pictures your wife, Mr. Garrett. While we lament the fact that her face is obscured, you can still make out her mighty arms and note the considerable horsepower they must contain. Indeed, surely any woman of such powerful constitution would be honored to be described as a beast. Honored might be stretching a point. Too late. The fact remains that the beast, which has so clearly savaged this room, was your wife, Mr. Garrett. The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well, as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Okay. Same creature disappeared to. Should be the same as before. Yep. Ah. So not dress pocket. Definitely. Poor, fragile, defenseless woman is besides herself. Well, I don't know about fragile. Dear. Anyway, Mr. Sholmes is quite right. There's no sign of Mrs. Garrett anywhere. Seems there may be clues to her whereabouts. Clue that this maid is trying to hide. I wonder where Mr. Garrett's wife could be. She's wearing a very large ring. Look. Yes, a sunflower design with some rather nice embellishments. It's on the ring finger of her left hand, which means it's really a wedding ring. Looks like it's on there for life, too. Can't imagine it would slide off a finger that size. Something to think, Mr. Naruhodo, not say. Do you know, Mr. Garrett's wife in the photograph had a ring very much like this one. A large sunflower design as well. Really? You have a great memory for these things. A large sunflower wedding ring. 6 p.m. Ugh, it's still too hot. But also, Herrick, how's it going? Like, that's definitely cooler for you than it's been, but that's still too hot. Especially for this time. Also, today it was so humid here, too. But for me, it's supposed to crank up tomorrow. Quite a coincidence that they have the same ring, isn't it? Yes, coincidence. I just want to see if she has anything else. Maid. Two tightly shut eyes to avoid even the chance of a giveaway glance. Its lips to prevent any secrets from slipping out. Round cheeks to deflect any abuse that might be hurled her way. Yes, this is an unnervingly powerful woman, Susada. To return a phrase that's unnerving, Mr. Naruhodo. With the pocket. Gotta be the way.
Take that!
Well, from this last week. Yeah, hey, you take that. Whereas for me, tomorrow's supposed to be like mid-90s, which is like 10 degrees hotter than the past week. I will not be happy about that. Your wedding ring gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. Ah. Indeed it does. That flowery band gleaming on your finger gives you away. But it is identical to the one shown in the hand of Mr. Garrett's bride in this photographic print. In other words, you are no ordinary household maid. No. You are Mr. Garrett's lucky bride. You are Mrs. Garrett herself. Oh my word. Well, we got her. It's still just part 1, though. Well, jolly fine detecting, sir. As you rightly surmise, this is the wife, yes. Miss my Joan. Rather let herself go, you might say, but she was a bally corker back. You deserved that one. It would appear that you don't live in the most comfortable of circumstances. After all, you are a retired army man, yet you are in the business of renting out rooms. I would assume, therefore, you have insufficient means to employ a maid. Would that be correct? It's not right, I tell you. I was 2nd Lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment. A man has his pride, don't you know? Golly, it's a sorry thing when a chap can't even afford to have a single maid in his employ. Yes, here in London one is rather judged. A household cannot be considered worthy of society if it employs no staff at all. Though in my considered opinion, such concerns about appearances are folly. You mean Mr. Garrett has his wife work as his maid? Precisely. Am I right, Mr. Garrett? Only in company, obviously, but listen here. This must remain a secret. Tip-top secret, please. Right. Yeah, those are mortar rounds, so like, yeah. Totally fine. Totally normal. Now, Mr. Garrett. It's plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. I mean... Okay, so... We've gone to this bit before. Pain you feel being revealed by the supported... No, it's definitely not the arm. Mr. Sholmes is quite something. He's still calling Mr. Garrett's wife a beast. Yes, as a woman that feels rather uncomfortable. But Miss Garrett is standing beside her husband as we speak. In other words, he hasn't lost his beloved at all, has he? Oh, how true. So perhaps that supporting arm that seems to be propping up his head has some of the significance then. According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Garrett's pain is tangible, though. What can that pose of his really signify? Could it be the massive slap mark on him? I mean, I don't know. Could be anything, really. The pipe. Very large pipe, isn't it? Yes, anyone who has something that size hanging out of his or her mouth on a regular basis sure to have a serious chin like Mr. Garrett's. What's that white binding around it all about? Did she slap it out of his mouth? My, look at that bright red mark. Gosh, it's quite something. Clearly made by somebody's hand. Yes, Mr. Garrett has been slapped in the face, it seems. Hard. It seems such a clearly defined mark. Whoever could have done such a thing? Well, a very limited number of candidates, I'd say.
Take that!
Head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by that slapped cheek. And of course, the deliverer of that impressive mark on your cheek that refuses to fade. Was you, Madame Joan Garrett? Yes. You have been desperate to hide that slap mark on your cheek, sir. Huh. How the blazes did you work that out, man? Nothing escapes the notice of one trained in the art of observation, my dear fellow. That's why you haven't looked directly at us even once. Keep your other side from view. Well, now, let us proceed to the next conundrum. Why were you subjected to such a violent slap? In other words, we must ask ourselves, what caused Madame Garib to fly into a rage? And we only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. So you thought it was the bills. Didn't Mr. Sholmes say the bills were all for lion fodder? Yes, but now we've established that the lion never existed, which can only mean that the thing responsible for gobbling up all that food was Mr. Garib's wife. Mr. Naruhodo, she's a person, not a thing. Yes, well, she's also a person who gave her husband a mighty slap around the face. One so hard that it left a perfect hand mark, in fact. Yes, why would a woman want to hit her husband with such force, I wonder? I'd love to know the answer to that question. Oh. Ah, someone must be reading this book at the moment. There's a bookmark here, look. Mr. Garib is clearly an avid reader. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think this is a bookmark. Oh no, so it isn't. It's a note written in a woman's hand. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. And look next to the signature here. Lip marks made with lipstick. Oh, what a passionate and romantic gesture. Any ideas, Susato-san? Oh dear, I'm sorry. This bookmark is actually a love note then. Yeah. I mean, it's probably that. If I were to take a shot in the dark as to why she'd be super mad at him, it might be that. It's this love note that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. Passionate indeed. Perhaps the sender of this note, a certain Miss Mary, is the fly in the ointment here. But I don't know the Bali woman. You don't know her? That note wasn't written to me. It was just in the book. I don't know how it got there. It was just in there, you say? That's right, that's what I've been saying. Unlikely story. Listen here, Joan, old thing. I explained it at the time. I bought the book at the second-hand place, and that note must already have been in there. So the previous owner of the book was using the note as a bookmark, you mean? Right, that's what I've been saying. Unlikely story. For heaven's sake, woman, look at the name. It's written to James. The name, in case you'd forgotten, is John. A likely story. Are you questioning my name now? And there we have it. Rouse the suspicions of the female heart and you unleash a beast with a most ferocious bite. In a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack. Unimaginable? Yep. Put the same. Clearly the lion biting it. Peaks. Yeah, definitely. But surely Miss Garib didn't eat the carpet? No, of course not. There doesn't seem to be any doubt that the state of disarray that this room is in is a result of her wild temper. No, that's true. So, this is the last part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction that we need to fix. We need only to follow Miss Garib's gaze and that will tell us the real answer. Alright, see what we can see. Yes. I mean, probably the candlestick. This looks like a very old candlestick, doesn't it? Base looks too small. Surely it's very unstable. Looks to me like even though the slightest knock would make it topple over. Dear, that would be dangerous. Wait, take a closer look at this. There's one candle missing. Yes, I didn't notice that before. Why is that, I wonder? Why is one candle of the 3 missing from its holder?
Take that!
Who knows? It's to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the candlestick. Most illuminating, my dear fellow, and of course the only possible way out of this illogical labyrinth. Yes, the remnants of the ferocious attack in which the carpet was devoured are clearly visible. Indeed they are. Scorch marks at the edge clearly give the truth away. I thought you said those were lion teeth marks. Huh? Okay. Scorch marks. It would appear that this room was the scene of a little marital altercation. Mrs. Garrett's mighty arm muscles left an impression not only on her husband's face, but on the entire room. The force of her strike caused a candle to fall from the holder. And in seconds the carpet was alight and the whole corner of the room in flames. Yes, But the most ferocious beast in this world is neither a violent lion nor a vengeful woman, but fire. And in this room, that ferocious beast bared its claws and ran amok. Eloquently put, my dear fellow. So you see, there's but one conclusion here. After the sparks of marital discord flew, this room was the scene of a fire. Just goes up to us like, get out of my house! Mr. Sholmes, sir, I salute you! Oh, and he's gone. Good save. Good save. Carpet scorched by a small fire. Elementary indeed. It's these dashed long winter nights, you know, nothing to do but read in front of the fire. Luckily, there's a jolly good second-hand bookshop just around the corner. Buy all my old novels there. And in the pages of one particular novel, you discovered some rather illicit material. Which your wife admonished you harshly, it seems. Don't know about admonished. Demolished might be rather closer to the mark. Okay. Thanks, phone, for useless things. And beast is most certainly an apt Go again. Carpet. Was that destroyed by fire when a candle fell on the floor? Need to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know? Whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. It's caught between the old stick's rage and the raging flames. You painted torrid picture, sir. One that would have been most entertaining. It's sympathy for you. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. Bally furniture started going up as well. Had to hide the mess behind that screen for the time being. Over here, Mr. Garrett? Well, you have nothing more to hide. Well, you have nothing more to hide now. You'd allow me. A bit of a scorch indeed. All my favorite old novels in that case. But as soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh, up in smoke. Gosh. Then the wife started hurling things at me. What a terrible sight it must have been. There I was, back up against the window, under heavy enemy fire. Incendiary books incoming 10 to the dozen. Most of it is, I lost my favorite book called The Lion's Pride. Lion's Pride? Ah yes, your notorious love of big cats coming through again. I assure you, the title didn't influence my choice in the slightest. The poor man really did lose something dear to him as a result of the ferocious beast rampage. The Show's deductions turned out to be correct once again. Little help. Can only be described as a great British wonder. Tell you, it was total carnage. Flames everywhere, and the old stick in a full fettle. Of interest. What time of day was this? Oh, sure, I can remember. It was 2 days ago now. Let's see. Around 5 o'clock, I think. At exactly the same time, a terrifying incident was unfolding outside your window in the street below. Even more terrifying on the inside, I can assure you. To you, I suppose. All of Blighty could have been flattened outside my window at that moment. I wouldn't have noticed the dash thing. Really? Mr. Sholmes? Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. What can I do for you? Well, I think we got to the bottom of Mr. Garib's situation now, but what does that have to do with Mr. Natsume's circumstances? Can't help you there, I'm afraid. What? My dear fellow, if you recall, I did say as much from the outset. I warned you that although I knew the retired army man to be hiding something, I could not be sure whether his secret would prove to be of relevance or not. I just knew you were going to say that. Now, Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't lose heart. Bear in mind, all things fall into one of only 2 categories, those relevant to the case and those not. It makes no sense to me. Well, no matter. It is of far greater importance that you make up your mind now. Right? Visiting hours at the prison will soon be over. Oh no, it's that time already? We're to accept Mr. Natsume's case. We have official paperwork to attend to. That's it. No more time to think. Perhaps you'd like to betake yourselves of bidding us a farewell now. I must prepare supper for Mr. Garib. Oh yes, I'm so sorry. Thank you. Thank you both very much for your time. Seki-san will be waiting for us. I'm going to have to give him an answer. In February, back to Briar Road. Hi, Mr. Naruhodo. We must hurry back to the prison. Yes, I know. Let's hail a care. Oh? What's the matter? Looks like something's going on over there in front of the Garib's house. Oh. I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers. What are you calling an old man, you rum-looking nimmy-pimmy? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. Who's this Horatio fellow, eh? What do you want about? Excuse me. What the hell? Who are you now? I'm sorry, it just looked as though there might be some problem here. My associate here, Mr. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, is a lawyer, you see. A lawyer? What? I can be of assistance, I'd be happy to help. I'm from Japan, but I have studied English law. Fine, be on my way for today, but you mark my words. This ain't over yet. Get thee to a nunnery. Do I look like a bloomin' nun to you? Well, some characters for sure. Do hope you're not injured. Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so gentle. Thank you. What was that all about? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. I'm not Horatio either. Forgive the inquiry, sir, but are you a lodger here in the Garib residence? Fair Eastern maiden, thou art so right. Yes, I do dwell in this humble abode. The Garib mentioned that he had another lodger, didn't he? This must be the man. I don't know. I don't know if I can trust somebody who never closes their mouth. Or who seems to have no bottom teeth. Do you happen to know the other lodger who lives on the first floor? He closes it sometimes, but his idol is not. Oh yes, a gentleman named Natsume. Oh, more worthy a polemist in my battle of words ne'er could there be. Sorry, battle did you say? Who is the stronger, Hamlet or Macbeth? Mr. Natsume and I sparred long into the night. I see. I don't fully understand, but it seems Mr. Natsume and this gentleman are acquaintances at least, and I punched the microphone again. So fair maiden, so good gentlemen. I can tarry here no longer. Fare thee well. I didn't really understand him, but I think he's returned to his room. Seems like he's unaware of what happened to Mr. Natsume, so he can't really help us. So Seki-san and that man as lodgers, the Garib house is certainly full of eccentrics. I'll go and find a carriage. Yeah, I'm sure Mr. Natsume is eagerly awaiting our return. Let's hope we can get to the prison before visiting hours are over. I did forget how twitchy he was. 19th February, 6:31 p.m., local prison cell 9. Hello, friend. Oh, I don't remember the voice we gave him either. I think we lead you to the twitchy. Oh, it's you. You're here. You came. Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. I can't believe you came back. I'm so touched. I'm so sorry to have kept you waiting, Mr. Natsume. No, think nothing of it. Relax. If I were a cat, I'd purr with pleasure with the company of such fine compatriots. No, nurturing, never failing Nipponese. So now, let's not get carried away. Oh, I quite agree. There's nothing more reassuring than the familiarity of one's native land. On the other hand, if it is through friendship transcending international borders that one truly appreciates the fact. Such is my belief, at least. Oh, it's you! The miserable rotten spy! Herlock shoves! I wish there was a way to hide the text, because that's just so perfect. Just Sholmes, what are you doing here? No intention of doing anything, per se. Save observing, of course. What do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Well, having encountered some curious reading material in that gloomfall room, and having unmasked the secret identity of that eccentric pair, I decided I should drop in on my way home to see how our divisive friend is... divested friend is faring. Gloomful room? At least your accommodation here offers a window, my dear fellow. In that sense, it is a superior option. Anyways, I must commend you on your taste in books. My day has been a delight and cost me not a penny. You! How dare you! Herlock shelves! I've had it. I'm through. I'm at the end of my rope. I should never have come to Great Britain. It's a terrible mistake. Haunted by spirits in those accursed lodgings. No doubt my luck would be cursed in tomorrow's trial as well. All lives be damned! What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? He's insane. Mentioned that once before, didn't he? His lodgings were cursed, I mean. And there is much truth in Mr. Mustache's words. What? Cursed is a wholly appropriate description, I would say, for the man's lodgings, and indeed for tomorrow's trial. That's supposed to mean. Mr. Natsume, what did you mean by what you just said now? We said just now. That the trial tomorrow being cursed? No. Why? Why are you looking so grave? You're making me nervous. Getting carried away. I was just getting carried away, that's all. I didn't mean anything by it. Oh, I see. It's really agitated him. You don't mean the trial really is cursed somehow? Are you referring to the prosecution? The Reaper of the Bailey? The Reaper? Oh no, what do you mean? Please tell me! Summarize it succinctly in 16 salient! No defendant has ever survived a trial in which the Reaper stands for the prosecution. That's a lie. One has. Just one. Yo, Ramen, how's it going? Welcome to Viper in the chat. The case is going pretty well. We're still at the questioning people phase. Also, I think I do need to stand up for a second and turn off the AC. It's actually too cold in here, which is not a problem I expected tonight, but give me 1 second. I need to get batteries for the remote. It came with a remote, but I just don't have any AAAs. I'm going to hit it from here. Well, 1 second. There we go. And also, as you might have guessed, Ramen, I forgot every voice I gave every character except for the main duo, so, you know, we're just rolling with whatever we got. It's been like 3 weeks. Oh my goodness, it can't really be true. That was 16 words exactly! Yesterday, Mr. Naruhodo successfully defended someone against the Reaper. But then, after the trial was over, the defendant passed away in unusual circumstances. Mr. McGilded. What? Ah, I'm impressed, Miss Susato. You have an eye for detail. Actually, the Lord Chief Justice told us. Mr. Sholmes. Surely it can't be that having failed to have the accused convicted, Lord Van Zeeks killed the man himself. Oh no, he couldn't have, surely. You have some wonderful notions. Sorry? The man isn't a mass murderer. He's a court prosecutor, my dear fellow. Oh, yeah. Why, of course he is. Of course he is, then why are you trying to scare me? It could be said, however, that the real truth about the man is even more terrifying than your hypothesis. What on earth do you mean by that? The Reaper. Van Zeeks is a quite exceptional man. However, in London courts of law, exceptional does not equate to winning every case without exception. That's good. So Seki-san looks like he's going to cry tears of joy. As you are no doubt aware, in a British criminal trial there is both a judge and a jury. The judge officiates based on the letter of the law, whilst the jury offers public opinion and common sense. It is an excellent system whereby the defendant's guilt is considered from several points of view. However, public opinion in particular is somewhat easily manipulated. Right. Criminals and corrupt lawyers, for that matter, can use it to their advantage. Oh, yeah. Well, Fisher cannot do revisit, but Fisher got some nutty stuff. So, Fisher is just different now. Revisit is really powerful though. Like, at first I wasn't using a lot of GP, so I just noticed that it kind of just refreshed a thing, but it also fills your GP. Once I started using that, I was like, oh damn, it's full again. So like, yeah, Revisit's crazy. But yeah, I knew most of the stuff in the video, but not all of it. I didn't, or at least I didn't realize the implications of all of it. Like, I didn't realize that, like, it makes sense. Every time you click one of those buttons, it re-rolls the fish. It has to. It has to, because you do it after you cast. Oh, no, another spider. There seem to be many small, like, baby spiders making their way, making their homes around my lighting set. Love this. They're so tiny, but I also don't want them here. Better on the light than on the microphone. Any means at their disposal, contriving evidence, calling imposters as witnesses, and so on. And the ability to guarantee getting a large or small fish is nuts. For certain circumstances. It's not going to change the entire face of fishing, but for certain specific fish, that is so helpful. Or even just targeting certain fish. You can say, yeah, I didn't... The one thing that he definitely mentioned that I didn't know was the whole, like, rest option. The whole you can just snap the line. Which also, yeah, if you're hunting for certain fish, is going to save a boatload of time. Yep. Narrowing it down on top of surface slap is nuts. I didn't quite realize how powerful the mooch thing could be, being able to hold them. I figured just holding them was cool because you'd stockpile some chances. And it is that, and that's already good. But, like, he talked about a bunch of other uses for it, like being able to super prepare for windows, or the fact that while normal things would end mooching, they don't when you use it from there. So you can do things that would normally couldn't do, which is awesome. So, like, yeah. Fishing got a lot of very good things. Very good things. So, gathering in general seems to be in a good spot. I can't complain. With 1k orange scripts. Yeah, I still haven't actually started script farming. I'm trying to level all the gatherers. So I got botanist at what, 89 today? 88, 89? I'm going to finish botanist, then I'll hit miner. I'm making a handful of money off it. Yeah, they sure be making gathering at least different. Crafting, I haven't gotten to a lot of the, like, new 90s stuff yet, so I'm not really sure. But yeah. Not for nothing, the people who make Fisher can make some evil fish, but they also clearly know what to give Fisher. And, like, that's really cool. That's really awesome. Yeah, the gathering team went kinda nuts. And hell yeah. I mean, it seems like... I mean, I'm not at 100 yet, but it seems like Botanist just got the one reset thing. But that's really powerful when it procs. Really powerful. Secret is... Leveling Crafter has always been choke easy. Always. Like, yes, my Fisher always hits level 100 because I like fishing. Well, it hits max level before my battle class because I like fishing, but it's also because it's just piss easy. It's so easy. There's a reason I have all my gatherers maxed out and not all my crafters, because it's just so easy to just put on an episode of something, do a few laps around a place, and be like, okay, cool, there's my levels. I did do leaves last time? I didn't. I just gathered. It worked. Leaves might have been... Was easy, fast? Alright. Maybe it took a little longer, but it worked for me. I swear there's a cat meowing at my door every minute or so. I don't know which cat it is or why they'd be meowing at my door. But I keep hearing a meow from the side. I don't think I locked the cat in. I would have seen them by now. Yeah, I've never used a gathering leave. Crafting's different. Yeah. Oh, you meant craft. Okay, that's different for sure. Yes, crafting is different. 100%. Gathering has always been piss easy. Crafting is now piss easy, apparently. I'm going the slow route. I should be using some leaves. I should look for other ways. Oh yeah, restoration for like 60 or 70. Honestly, I got most of mine through either restoration or just Beast Tribe quest or what are they, Alliance quest. For every expansion, there's somebody who just goes, here's the materials you need to do your stuff. Do it daily. It'll cost you not a single penny. You'll in fact make money off it. Here, level your gatherers. And lately I've been doing Grand Company turn-ins too. Not just custom deliveries, but also custom deliveries. Our Fisher, yeah. Yeah, custom deliveries are fun. I do custom deliveries every week, and I always do or not every week since it came out. And also try to do like Beast Tribe quests daily if I can. Oh no, I've got her in the full like Hanu outfit. Like the full outfit for one of those guys. So mine is a very non-lewd Emiliance. But I do have her maxed out, for sure. I have all of them like maxed out, but I'm sure there's still achievements and story and whatever, but I've got them maxed to the point where I can like glam them. By any means at their disposal, contriving evidence, calling imposters as witnesses, and so on. By such underhanded means, those who would want are able to sway the jury. Different mindsets. Yes, we do. Well, I knew everyone was going to immediately loot her. Like, as soon as it was announced, everyone was like, the second that was announced, I'm pretty sure the amount of people swarming into the Alliance raids to get an extra set of 2B leggings, like, bricked servers. It was not subtle what exactly was going to happen the second people got the ability to send her glamored items. It wasn't subtle. Everyone knew. So I was like, what's the goofiest thing I got on hand? And I was like, that's the one. Legitimately, she looks stupid in it. And I really do need to find like something that looks like good for her. I want to find a good like fashion set. I just haven't. Because at the time I hadn't really gone back to her for a while. Now it's just like, yeah, I should give her some actual clothes, but you know. But it doesn't have to be the gladiator set or anything. It doesn't have to be gladiator top 2B leggings. It can be other clothes. I swear. The meows aren't in-game, right? You guys aren't hearing a meow? I don't know what cat... Like, it's weird for a cat to be coming up to my door and meowing. Yeah, you are hearing them, or yeah, you're not hearing them? Oh yes, okay. It means that even in the light of irrefutable evidence, the prosecution can fail. But it means the wrong verdict can be passed. And sadly it is from time to time, my dear madam. It is simply the reality of the situation. That's alright. I could, yeah, but it's also fine. Like, a cat meowing at my door is weird, but fine. However, those indicted by Lord Von Zeeks cannot escape justice. Their fate is sealed. Oh my. Though the agitation may see them leave the courtroom with their freedom. Adjudication. Whoops. Within months they all disappear. It is most striking. Disappear? But how? Ah, by all manner of misfortune, sir. Perhaps they are trampled under a passing carriage. Perhaps they fall into the Thames and drown. Perhaps they are suddenly overcome by a raging fever, or perhaps attacked by highwaymen. Oh, no. All examples of the reality of events here in London, I'm afraid, Mr. Naruhodo. Okay, I am gonna go check. It's so much meowing happening. 1 second.
にゃー。
The general consensus is that there was definitely not a cat outside the room. However, there is a possibility there's one cat that hasn't been spotted in a little bit out there that could be in here somewhere. So I'm going to turn on the light and take a peek behind the couch real quick and see if he's stuck back there real quick. So, 1 second. Maybe I'm just hallucinating. Maybe I'm just hallucinating. I'm gonna go let them know that I didn't find a cat in here, and then I'm gonna come back and continue. All cats are accounted for. There was one cat that did kind of run from this direction towards the main room when I was out there the first time. So it's possible it was Spud meowing. It's also possible it's all in my freaking head and I just hallucinated it. Those are the two options. But all cats are accounted for. The cat we were worried might have been in here was upstairs. After I had the smart idea of just putting some kibble down and every cat just rushed. So all cats are accounted for. There is no cat locked in here. There either was one outside the door thinking another cat was locked in here, or I'm going insane. So those are two good options. Hoping for the first. Definitely hoping for the first. But yeah, cool. It's just a weird... Alright. I knew it. I'm dead. No, done for, doomed. Poor guy. When you said accursed lodgings before, you were referring to your room at Mr. Garrett's house, I assume. Do you mean to say you believe the place is cursed? My phone back where I can actually see it in case anything important does happen. It's been a year now since I came to Great Britain. But it's only been in London a week before I started to notice strange feelings in myself. That didn't take long, though. Everywhere I looked, there were foreign faces staring at me, laughing behind my back. I was sure people were talking about me. The strange feelings were BL, yes. He saw his very eccentric upstairs neighbor and went, oh my. Those were the strange feelings. Well, they were having lengthy, heated debates about which literary master of the arts was indeed the most masterful. So, you know, first it starts with arguing, then it goes to love, you know. I was sure people were talking about me. I started to become nervous about going outside. They were staring at me all the time, from dusk till dawn. So I shut myself away in my room, but even that didn't help. The fear wouldn't go away. And obviously both of them have a flair for the dramatic. You must have been very lonely having been away from your homeland for such a long time. I had to move a number of times, most recently to the room on Briar Road a week ago now. Oh, he's only been there a week. Never mind. Okay. He does, yeah. Yes, why did he choose there? It seems a little inconvenient. The rent is cheap. I have so little money, it appealed to me straight away. Of course, I asked why it was so affordable. The landlord just simpered and said, the room is cursed. Oops. He quickly tried to cover his mistake, but it was too late, so I told him, if you have something to say, then say it. If not, don't mention it in the first place. Living meme? Yes, he is the meme. All, what meme? Yes, the meme. Yes, well said. But it was true. It was all true. You mean, the room really is cursed then? Ever since I moved in that windowless hellhole. My sleep has been plagued with nightmares. I wake feeling as though I'm being choked to death. Oh my goodness. He feels like he's being choked to death because he's burning candles to light his reading in an enclosed room with no ventilation. I wonder why he's had trouble sleeping and had nightmares and feel like he's being choked and can't breathe. I wonder. It could truly be anything. And in my waking hours, people are stabbed in front of me as I walk down the... See, that one, that's a harder one. That you can't blame on carbon monoxide. I'm branded a killer, thrown in prison. Nobody wants to know me. I'm surrounded by scary, sinister spirits. Only there was someone, just one person on my side. Can no one find it in his or her heart to believe in me? Really no one at all. To believe. Yes, to believe. to believe. Mr. Sholmes? Ah, me, Mr. Naruhodo. Pray, what can I do for you? About the case on the SS Bureau, if you recall. The Bureau. The Bureau. Ah, that case. The one with the snake. Well, yes. At that time, I was the suspect, but you believed in me and listened to my side of the story. And you helped us to investigate. I did I? Interesting. What I want to know is why? Why did you believe in me? I see, yes, you mean... because you were a grimly dressed, shady Eastern fellow found with the victim in a locked room. Well, if you like, yes. I'm a little surprised that the answer requires explanation, my dear fellow. Quite simple, really. You said I didn't do it. But I could have been lying. Surely you must have had your doubts. You must have suspected me a little. I think perhaps you have misunderstood. I neither recall believing in you, nor in that which you were telling me. Man, I didn't think I'd start relating to Sholmes, but here we are. But it was 2 days ago. I can't be bothered to remember that far back. There's cases ahead of me now. What? You see, the only things I believe in are those I choose to believe in. What? What do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? I make up my own mind about what is to be believed and what is not. If I should like to believe in something, I do. The circumstances can hang as far as I'm concerned. But I could have betrayed your trust. The only thing better than the sudden laugh is the sudden cut out of it. Instead of the full animation, like the head back, but then... In that case, I should have made an elementary error of judgment. Nothing more. Betrayal of trust is an overused excuse, in my opinion. Meaning? Whether or not one should trust another is, in the final analysis, down to oneself. It's a matter of whether or not one can trust oneself. Yes, he's right. He's right! Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Whether or not I can believe in myself. You're so right, Kazuma. Well, my dear fellows, it is time we were leaving, I believe. Already? Visiting hours are over. The guard will be here shortly to escort us out. There's a restaurant near here that serves excellent trout. Would you care to join me? Oh dear, there's never enough time, is there? Mr. Natsume? If you'd like, in the trial tomorrow. I'd be happy to represent you. Welcome, student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. As I said, I only experienced a British courtroom for the first time yesterday. And although the man I was representing was found not guilty, I lost sight of something crucial. Something crucial? To believe in. The defendant, justice, or the truth. How to believe, even. But I think I finally worked it out. I decided I must believe in myself above all else, to trust my instincts. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. And my instincts are telling me that you, Mr. Natsume, are innocent of this crime. And it is imperative that we prove that in court. Welcome, student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. I will fight for your innocence until the bitter end, with every weapon available to me, including this katana. I will kill for you, so I hope you'll permit me to represent you tomorrow. As I said when we first met, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who will listen to me in my native tongue. Of course, Mr. Natsume. Also, 7, how's it going? Welcome to Viper Land in the chat. Because we're judge in the court, yeah. They can't all press the guilty button if they're all dead. It would be fair to say, Mr. Naruhodo, that your mind was in many ways made up from the outset. You merely needed the events of today to fully realize it. Yes, I think you're right about that. Been a roundabout journey, but I got there in the end. Poor guy. Miss Susato. Yes? Would you be willing to stand by my side tomorrow and help me in court? No. Get fucked. She walks out. Absolutely. As I said this morning, you consider me your personal judicial assistant. I got things to do. No, I got things to do, nerd. See ya. Susato out. She would toss him first, yes. He'd be in the way of her exit, so of course. The shocking events of yesterday's trial still weigh heavily on my mind, but it's time to stop looking backwards. Cosmo believed in me, and Mr. Sholmes believes in me now too, so it's time. Does Mr. Sholmes believe in you, or is he just kind of bumbling his way through life very loudly? Time that I learned to believe in myself. So Seki-san is no one, he's all alone, so it's my job to help him, to fight to his corner. Tomorrow, in the courtroom, with all the strength I can muster. Definitely, yes. I'm pretty sure the Sholmes and Mr. Magoo have a lot more in common than it seems at first sight. But I love him. He's great. I love him. Slowpoke is omnipotent, but that makes him dumb as rocks. Yes, wait, is that a thing? Is that like a thing people have decided? That's a new one to me. 20th of February, 9:23 a.m., the Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. Slowpoke and Pokedex caption. Canon are omnipotent. Okay. They know everything. That's why it takes so long for them to focus on any one thing. Okay. Well, never expected this. Agreed. I didn't expect that about Slowpoke and Slowbro. Who'd have thought we'd be back here again so soon? On a study tour of Great Britain with the intention of learning the country's legal proceedings. In order to research the latest court procedures here, we need as much court experience as possible. Well, yes, I suppose that's true, but for the person in the dock, it may well be his or her one and only time in court, and it could be life-changing. In which case, treating it as research may seem a little crass. You know, now you're talking about crass, but you were willing to call somebody overly large and plump earlier to their face, but now research for the courtroom is crass. Okay, I see how it goes. Okay. Are they actually able to focus on reality? I guess I must have, like, Pokedex entries are insane sometimes. Like 90% of Pokedex entries, normal, bluff, whatever. 10% of Pokedex entries are certifiably bananas. Oh, when you put it like that, you're quite right. Good morning. Ah, Mr. Natsume, good morning. Oh dear, are you alright? Your eyes are terribly bloodshot. I am high as balls! The early bird catches the worm, as they say here in Britain. Yes, I've heard that expression. I really don't want to catch a worm. So I tried desperately not to wake up early, but I was so worried I couldn't catch a wank. And now I'm absolutely exhausted as a result. Do all literary people take things so literally? Thank you for putting your faith in us today, Mr. Natsume. Excuse me. I wish I had 9 lives. My whole future hangs in the balance. I'm too terrified to tremble. You are not, because you are trembling tons. Really? Because I can feel tremors on the floor. I can't do this. I can't take it. Although, welcome student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Yes? I caught a glimpse of the public gallery as I walked by the courtroom. It looked like the opening night of the opera. There's so many people. I had no idea my case was such a notorious affair here in London. Oh, neither did I. Do you know where that might be, Mr. Sato? Sorry, Mr. Naruhodo, but I have no idea. So that all-knowing look in your face is just confidence then, is it? Don't have the truth in me! It's because of the Reaper, isn't it? Lord Zeeks. Is that right, Mr. Sato? Purchased as many different newspapers as I could find this morning, and yes, Lord Van Zeeks is on the front page of everyone. I knew it. Sometime after the prosecutor was dubbed the Reaper of the Bailey, he stopped appearing in court, it seems. Been several years now, in fact, until the day before yesterday. Yes, Inspector Gregson told us something similar, didn't he? Inspector Infinite Fish and Chips. Inspector, I could solve world hunger, but I'm just really hungry. Trial 2 days ago marked Lord Van Zeek's return to the courtroom after a very long hiatus. The trial of Magnus McGilded. What a harrowing experience that was. I believe that appearance made even greater waves here in the capital than today's. But we wouldn't have realized, of course, having only just arrived in the country. Why is the Reaper back in the Bailey so soon for what appears to be a mundane murder? That's the question the papers are asking, and they're all speculating various answers. Mundane! It's the most significant saga of the century to some of us. Oh dear, I meant no offense, Mr. Natsume, but it is how the papers are describing it. Well, at least we forget the fact that it could spark an international incident. Obviously, the reappearance of this infamous prosecutor has caught people's attention. Would never, Roman. But there's another blatant similarity with the trial 2 days ago. Yes, I agree. Welcome student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. It is you. Me? Well, I suppose that's true. Both times it is you who stands against this legendary prosecutor. And you can only mean that you're friends with the Reaper! Please, I don't rub shoulders with Deathbringers. Oh, you got a problem with Dark Knights now all of a sudden? Huh? You got a problem with Reapers? I'm afraid that there's really only one other explanation. It can only be another example, Mr. Naruhodo, of your uncommon bad luck. Thanks for that. Oh, this is just my luck. Why must I be represented by a man with such a frail fortune? By the least lucky lawyer alive! Well, let's not forget that it was you, Mr. Natsume, who asked me to represent you. Yes, it's true that I'm just a student, new to London, with little in the way of experience or skills, or luck. But I promise you this. I will fight your corner until the bitter end, and I will believe in you, Mr. Natsume. Benevolent Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Not alone here with us, Mr. Natsume. Whatever happens, we will always be on your side. Oh, benevolent non-locum assistant Miss Mikitoba Esquires. I'm in your debt forever! I shall never forget this great kindness for as long as I live. Mr. Natsume, counsel for the defense. The court session is about to begin. Kindly make your way into the courtroom at once. Waste money breaking things. True. Who could? It's so it's such an ostentatious show of wealth. That who could support it? I did forget. Didn't we start last one with a? No, it was the other one. We started one of these streams with Eat the Rich for a good reason. All right then, Mr. Natsume, it's time. Let's go. Yes. This is it. Yeah, it's true. My second appearance in a British courtroom. My second trial against the Reaper. Hope you're watching over me, Cosmo. Because this time, I won't let my faith waver. I'll believe in my client to the last. Just like you believed in me. I believe I can do this now. I'm ready for this fight. I feel like my background is not... Hold on. I'm just noticing it in the camera. It's definitely tilted too far. I think it fell over when I was looking under the bed for the cat. And I did not notice at the time because the light was on. 20th February, 10 a.m., the Old Bailey courtroom.
It's magic.
No, it's better. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. Call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. Good luck, Ramen. Oh, Birdie got a resubscription fish today, which was a new fish nobody else had caught before. It was one in the game, but it was a 2-tug worth like 200 gold. And nobody had pulled it before. Oh, hey, and you got Goro Majima. You know. See, I'm so torn. I want to make everything cool worth a lot of points, but I like the concept of making things more common. And I feel like the idea of Majima always being a threat, always being the possibility of being there, is way funnier than valuing him higher. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution. Oh, I read that. The prosecution is fully prepared, my lord. The defense, ready, my lord. The Nipponese are truly a fascinating breed. Sorry? What? Lord Strongheart has told me all about you. That you are a student who arrived in London but 2 days ago, a mere amateur. Do you have a point? Being a compatriot, you feel compelled to try to help the accused, I suppose. Typical Nipponese arrogance. Yo, dog! That's racist! Forgive me, but I do not believe arrogance is an appropriate description. Susato-san. After all, at our previous encounter, the defendant was found to be innocent. Ah, the money wasting begins. Very true, and a most fascinating, if dark, trial it was too. The tragic conclusion came later, of course. Here's to the acquitted, and his unfortunate violent end. Thank you, counsels. I see both sides are in fine fettle. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are you ready to carry out your duties here in court as impartial members of the public? Oh, hey, you look familiar. You never know when you might be down on your luck, but I believe in fair play for everyone. Well, I must... Oh, well, not me. What you see is what you get. I'm a peace-loving fellow. What? No, that's illegal! No! You can't do that! I swear I just heard another meow. I think I'm losing my marbles, and it's okay. It's fine. Afraid to say, I think it's quite possible that mustached foreigner did the deed. Not only is she involved with the case, she is already so convinced that he did it. Come on, what are we waiting for? No doubt he did it anyway. Sorry, didn't quite catch that. Very well, let us proceed. The opening statements, if you please, Lord Van Zieks. Very recently, Great Britain signed an alliance with a rising power in the Far East. The accused in the dock today is a student from that same land, a certain Mr. Soseki Natsume. Better find Peter Pan. Yeah, I know. Is it funny that's the first thing I think of too? I haven't seen Hook in so long, but it's still what I think of. We have perfect jury. 2 people are already dead set convinced he did it. One of them didn't hear anything. One of them was from a prior case and probably has no preconceived notions whatsoever. One talks like this, and one is literally generic human male. Just the blank slate generic human male character. He sure is a dude. Yup. While our country has extended this foreign student the warmest of welcomes, regrettably, the kindness has not been returned. In fact, the student is accused of a most sinister act. plunging a knife into the back of an innocent woman who was doing nothing but walking down the street, just like that innocent glass of wine was plunged into that innocent chandelier. What? It's brazier, candelabra. What is that? Whatever. A knife crime, I tell you from bitter experience, those are the worst. Bloody oath they are. Just look at all that solid construction of short stature. He's one of those dreadful Japanese. Oh my god, you're racist too! Come on, let's get this over with. With me now, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, didn't quite catch that. We got at least 2 racists in this jury, and 1 is the prosecutor. Candelabra, that makes sense, yeah. Pray, forgive the discourtesy of smashing my hollowed chalice here in this great chamber for the 97th time. That's true, as we found out in RRR, which I still have to get Calico and Afro to watch at some point. I don't know when we're going to have 3 hours to sit down and watch a movie, but it's going to be that movie when we do. Holy crap, that's such a good movie. The British suck so much. Allow me to call the first witness to the stand. Very well. Bailiff, lead the inspector in, please. Your name and occupation, please. Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard. I've changed his voice in like 3 times already. I just can't settle on a good voice for him. I feel like the scruffiness of Gumshoe doesn't work for him. I don't know. It'll land eventually. None of them are bad for him, but I don't know if any of them's really hit the spot yet. Excuse me. Would you please surmise the events of the case of the court, Inspector? The victim is thought to be a young woman in her 20s by the name of Olive Green. Of course. I beg your pardon, Inspector. Thought to be. Yes, having been stabbed in the back by her attacker's knife, the victim fell unconscious. That was 3 days ago now, and she's been comatose ever since. What? So they don't even know who she is for sure? Comatose, I see. But her life is not in danger? Fortunately for the Eastern student, the charge will not be murder. Pray, return to the waking sands. Sir, if I could ask everybody to look at this street map. As I mentioned, the incident took place 3 days ago, at around 5 in the afternoon. Happened on the pavement, running alongside Briar Road, a wide thoroughfare for horse-drawn vehicles. Oh, I need to finish that quest. Apparently, those quests start going to every area once you clear some of them, and you get the minion if you finish all of them. I need the minion, obviously. I must have the corn servant. I must pray take of the cob. It had not long since stopped snowing as the victim, Miss Green, was walking down the street. Out of the blue, she was approached from behind by the accused and stabbed in the back. Also, I'm realizing now, I think I'm going to have to wait a whole week to do the raid. That kind of sucks. But I don't know if I'm going to have time Tuesday to do it before. Like, even if I streamed earlier after work, I don't know if I'm going to have time Tuesday. I just don't think I'm going to have time. And then I'm off until, like, at earliest next Monday. So it's going to be a week. Which stinks, because I'm going to get spoiled for everything. Fine. It happens. It's nobody's fault. But, like, it's going to happen. Yeah. It always overlaps something. It's usually a Path of Exile League, but this time it's not. This time the Path... Thursday is when they announce the new league, but Friday the 26th is when the league happens. The problem is, Friday the 26th is also the pre-release of the Magic set I wanted to go to the pre-release for. So I have to choose Path of Exile Day 1 or Bloomborough pre-release, and I don't know which. Oh yeah, it's still gonna be very fun, don't get me wrong. But like, I can pretty much guarantee that a week later, there's not a chance in hell that any of the 4 fights visually will be a surprise to me. Maybe I'll avoid them, maybe I'll be too busy to con, who knows. I'm not gonna go seeking spoilers. Out of the blue, she was approached from behind by the accused and stabbed in the back. Luckily, the young lady's life was spared, and she's currently being treated in one of the city's hospitals. I'm actually gonna. What I'll do is I'll look at. Hold on. I shouldn't do this now, but we're already tangented. I want to see if they have it on another day, perhaps. Oh, do they not have the schedule just on their website? Oh, events. There you go. No, I don't care about your pop-up. Stop it. Bluebro pre-release 26. Oh, there's another one on the 29th. Aha! So maybe I'll just... Maybe I'll end up going on the 29th. I can do that. Yeah, perfect. We do Path of Exile weekend, and then I take the Monday off and go to the pre-release. Cool. All works well. Still doesn't change the fact that I'm going to have to wait a week for the raid, but life goes on. Luckily, the young lady's life is spared. She's currently being treated in one of the city's hospitals. Yeah, problem solved. But being unconscious as she is, we've been unable to take a statement from her, of course. This is the case file with everything we know about the victim so far. Thank you, Inspector. The court will accept the documents as evidence, if you please. Case file has been entered into the court record. Also, we haven't saved at all tonight. Oh, no, we did, actually. We did just save. We didn't manually save. We had the prompted one. What of the weapon that was used? Sir, I have that here. It was removed from the victim's back. Excuse me. I think it's starting to make me scared to walk down the street now. With a heavy blade like this, almost anybody would have been able to stab the poor woman. I mean, to be fair, it doesn't take a big blade to stab somebody. Even that scragged-looking Soseki-san, I suppose. A common or garden jackknife, I would say. Rather nondescript. Thank you, Inspector. The court accepts the blade as evidence. Jackknife has been entered. Now then, what do we know of the motive? Money or valuables, I presume? I should check these new things. So 2 shillings, tempted in receipt of picture of Monsieur Lecoq. It's definitely how you pronounce that, right? A meal for Garrido? Canterbury Yearnings? Okay. Gotcha. I don't know the meal one off the top of my head, but it's clearly Canterbury Tales and the picture of Dorian Gray. File containing overview. A young woman rendered unconscious following a stab wound to the back. Olive green, female, stout build, early 20s. Location, pavement of Briar Road East Side. Reporting officer, Rolly Beat. The victim remains unconscious. Her name was gleaned from her personal effects. Other details are unknown. Apart from the single stab wound from the large knife, no other sign of injury were observed. The assailant was seen running away by the reporting officer and was successfully arrested the following day. Is this still a thing? Yeah. Oh, they don't lock? Ugh, no. Close on you. Yeah, like, I have a knife here. And I don't know if it'll pick up on the mic, but you can hear it lock. You can hear it click into place, and like, no amount trying to close that, unless you move that little slider in, will close the knife. Yeah, no. For slicing. Alright, yeah, I guess if it's slicing it won't close, but also, yeah. Oh. Seem to be missing just the tip. Oh, look here, Mr. Naruhodo. Just at the tip. A small piece of the blade appears to be missing. Right. Well spotted, Miss Susato. Wonder what could have happened to it. Yes. You don't think it could still be lodged to the victim, do you? Oh dear, I do hope not. That sounds terribly painful. It does, yeah. Otherwise, it is pretty nondescript, yeah. Also, no blood. I guess they wash it off. From what we can tell by looking at the woman's possession. Seems she's a poor student herself. I do need a new knife. This is like 10 years old now and really dull. But I also am afraid, like, I don't know if I need a sharp knife. Maybe I just need like a sharpener for this or something. I really just use it for like opening boxes these days, and that's what I originally got it for. I used to work at a paint store. We had to open so many boxes, and I would just have my knife on me and open boxes. But it's very dull now. I don't imagine she would have had anything much worth pinching, my lord. Let's see. Well, in that case, we're looking at some deep-seated resentment towards the victim. I'm afraid I couldn't say. Apart from visiting second-hand bookshops, the defendant, Mr. Natsume, doesn't appear to get out much. At this moment in time, we haven't been able to establish any sort of connection between him and the victim. If theft and grievance have been ruled out as the motive, what reason could Mr. Natsume possibly have had for stabbing the young woman? That's true, and like, I definitely could have gotten a box cutter, and it would have worked as well, but I don't know. Just kind of like having a decent knife around. You're right though, like, a box cutter would have worked, but I feel like having a knife lets, like, a full knife gives it a bit more, like, versatility than a box cutter, which is pretty much just going to open boxes. To a degree. I could have, though, you're right. Like, definitely could have. Yet you arrested the man in spite of that, in a totally unjustified and heavy-handed way. The whole bottle this time. Into the audience? Nah, it's okay. Shards of glass right next to them? That's fine. Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging a freshly uncorked bottle into the public gallery. Ah, my eyes! The bleeding just won't stop! But your words have soured its hallowed bouquet. It tastes delicious, but also it hurts so bad. It is you, my learned friend, who is being heavy-handed here. What? Scotland Yard does not arrest people without good cause. That should be beyond question. Should it? Should it? They're guilty because we arrested them? We wouldn't have arrested him if he wasn't guilty? He has the strongest point, bar none. Inspector Gregson, the prosecution calls for your formal testimony. Explain to the court precisely why the constabulary came to arrest the Nipponese student. Yes, sir. It's one of those words that I've read tons of times, but I realize I've never had to like say out loud often. Mr. Natsume's arrest. As I said, it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon, also good look at the fishing. When the incident occurred, there was an unusually light fog. Visibility was reasonably good. There was no one else about but the victim and the accused. You got a magical girl. It could be... you know.
It's magic.
It's perfect. Not a specific magical girl, but a magical girl. I think I like... I forgot that I had set the flavor text for magical girl as technically, which, you know, technically she is a magical girl. There's no lie. With that one, right? Yeah. Out of the blue, the victim was stabbed from behind and subsequently collapsed on the pavement. The accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor. Those being a number of old books he just bought. He was on his way home from a bookshop, it seems. It's just a matter of working out who the books belong to, and we found the bloke to arrest him. Old books, you say? Yes, my lord. I have a photograph here of the scene of the crime, taken immediately after the incident. Damn. Ah yes, I can clearly see the books to which you are referring. Yeah, but have you seen the improved version of it by Little V. Take that photographic print as evidence, please, Inspector. Crime scene photograph has been entered into the court record. You Nipponese are a spineless breed, too cowardly to admit defeat. Denying everything despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Oh, that's what that is, okay. Well, Forgive me, Lord Van Seeks, but the defendant is not denying everything, as you put it. What are you doing, Mr. Sato? You go on. Mr. Natsume has admitted to playing some part in the incident. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, now that you mention it, when we visited him in the prison yesterday, he did tell us what had all happened. And suddenly, without a little escape, it collapsed on the court. Hard slabs of stone on my feet. I was terrified. I had to get away from it. So I ran. My carry me back to my cursed life. Everything's accursed. Just everything. A green overcoat. Well, that's exactly what the woman in the print is wearing. My, a photographic print in full color. What will the world come up with next? The defendant has done nothing more than admit he fled the scene of a terrifying incident. It does not mean he's guilty of the heinous crime of stabbing a woman in the back. There was nobody else there at the time. Just the two of them, the victim and the accused. His point is still his most powerful, but his slam has build up. He doesn't just hit it, he really just gathers power before he hits it. It's a full telegraphed Final Fantasy XIV raid attack. You can see the hit marker underneath it. In other words, there's nobody else who could possibly have stabbed the woman. But the point is the most powerful. The fact that the accused concedes. Seems this cross-examination could prove to be pivotal, Consul. Proceed, please. The foot is also very good. Yes, my lord. Nothing for it. I have to use this cross-examination to turn the tables here. It's our only chance. Mr. Natsume's arrest. Yep.
Hold it!
Ah, yes. But it's the reed. Light fog, you say? Well, light for London. You can see the opposite side of the street for once. Not much further, though. It's a light, is it? Around these parts, yes. Not something I'd expect a Japanese fellow like yourself to know, of course. I read that London is famous for its fog. But in my country, people usually imagine that gives the city a rather beautiful appearance. How quaint. Yes, well, it's not something us Londoners tend to romanticize, as I expect you can appreciate. I see. This time of year, the fog causes a large number of accidents, especially when it's heavy. Sometimes you can't even see your own hand at the end of your arm. Indeed, the other day I was very nearly trampled by horses before I could see the carriage they were pulling. Susato-san and I should definitely remember to stop, look, and listen. Oh, cool. Didn't even notice. Thank you. What was it this time? However, on the day that concerns us, the fog was somewhat lighter than usual. A fact no doubt lamented by the accused. I knew they'd be bottling. Okay, cool. Screw 'em. They're gone.
Hold it!
Honestly, it's probably fine. They really just haven't been popping up enough to even bother updating the list. Like, I can update it, but still been so few and far between, it's not even worth it. And like every time it's a new one anyway, so even if I did, I don't know if it would change much. If we ever start seeing 2 in a row, that'll be a different story. How are you able to state that with any certainty? Quite simply, my learned friend, because that is what the witnesses to this crime have told us. Ah, yes. Inspector Gregson mentioned the witness yesterday, didn't he? That's right. One of them is a policeman, I believe, from Scotland Yard. That's correct, ma'am. I always forget about his weak-ass slaps. They happen just infrequently enough that they're perfect. It's the perfect mixture of animation and sound effect. You're so used to the big resounding booms that when you hear it's just like... You're like, oh. And he looks at his hand like it betrayed him or something. Then we must hear their testimony. Prosecution will of course call them to the stand, should it be necessary. What do you mean should it be necessary to hear the heckin' witness's testimony? Yeah, it should. But wait a minute. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon in the middle of winter, it would have been dark already. No matter how late the fog might have been, no one could have seen... Unaware of the situation in your tiny island to the east. But here in the capital city of Great Britain, all main roads are illuminated in the night by gas streetlights. Ah! The prosecution believes there would have been ample light by which to witness the crime. Quite. Here in London, for the first time in history, mankind has completely conquered the darkness. Yeah, they give them normal ones just enough. Which means we really need to hear those witnesses' statements. We just get through the fog of this cross-examination. Maybe we'll be able to. It seems the counsel for the defense is... You can stop. Continue with your testimony, Inspector. Yes. Ah, Devil May Cry.
Hold it!
Behind, you say? That's right. As you can see from this print. Yes, quite so, Inspector. The handle of the weapon is clearly protruding from the victim's back. Would you say this poor woman, Miss Green, remains in a critical condition, comatose no less? I'm afraid so, my lord. She's been she's being treated at Bart's. I was hopeful that she'd come around before the trial started so I could take a statement, but it wasn't to be. Yes, that is indeed a pity. It would have been most illuminating to hear the victim's own account of events. Luck is on your client's side, it seems. On the contrary, my client has been exceedingly unlucky. Your force of tone is seriously undermined by those disturbingly wide eyes, I'm afraid. It would have been so great if he was like, those weak-ass hands. Ugh. Your slaps are weak. You're not fam anymore. It's like one of those one random meme videos ended up being shown years ago. The "your moves are weak, you're not fam anymore" video, which is, if you haven't seen it, it's art. It's just art. Mr. Natsume's belongings, think you'll find it's all there in the photographic print of the crime scene. I don't think it's too long, and like, it drags on a bit towards the end, but the first, like, little bit of it, very good. Yes, the 3 books on the floor. That's right, my lord. That's right, my lord. Second-hand books. They were irreparably damaged after falling in the snow, of course. I don't even know what to search for besides that, but it was a big enough viral video for a while that, like, it'll probably show up. The accused could easily have carried all 3 books in one hand, which means they were jerking it with the other. I mean, his other hand would have been free to wield a knife. Example. Very clever, isn't he? What do you mean? It made it extremely hard for you to assert that Mr. Natsume had his hands full of his books. He's managed to close one of the avenues of escape we might have had before we even knew it was there. Probably, I assume that's it. Yeah, that's the one. I'm a sucker for like low budget things where just one person plays all the characters but still nails it. It's good. It's good. That is absolutely the one though. You mean to say that the defendant was holding his belongings? I'm also clearly a sucker about making Lord Zeke say weird things in his definitely not a vampire voice. You mean to say that the defendant was holding his belongings as he thrust the knife into the woman's back? That must be what happened, my lord, yes.
Hold it!
The defendant apparently visits a second-hand bookshop on a daily basis. Yes, so I understand. Shop full of old English literature. Commend the accused on the lofty subject matter of his scholarly attention. The books room was stacked floor to ceiling with these musty old books. Can you tell us more about the bookshop in question, please, Inspector? I still just have the 2 pieces of paper. I should expand it so I can actually shuffle them. Well, I must. I'll have to ask you to look at the street map again, I'm afraid. More power to the paper. Closest second-hand bookshop to the accused lodgings is this place here, Bourbon Books. Little place on the corner of Briar Road and Mearschum Street. As it happens, the accused is currently living in lodgings on the other side of Briar Road, the opposite end. Which means it doesn't take a genius to work out the route he would have taken home. Well, I mean, yeah, but it also could have been further over. That's about it. Something like this. The local map's information has been updated with the court record. Yes, I concur with your conclusion, Inspector. The defendant would certainly have passed the scene of the crime on his way home from that particular shop. Mr. Naruhodo, I think that what the inspector just told us would turn out to be of vital importance. Yes, I agree. The most important point that the inspector just made being... I mean, it's got to be the location, because why would any of the rest of it matter? At all? Additional detail on what you just told the court inspector is the location of the bookshop. I couldn't agree more. So, where is it exactly? Yeah. Now you winded me up, Sunshine. I just explained that. I got the map out and everything. Used red blooming ink and drew the blokes around home for you. I distinctly remember seeing you nod along, Counsel. Oh, yes. Yes, of course. It has been sent over so I didn't take it in. The blunder of the day goes to you, my learned friend. No, not yet. Trial's only just begun after all. Mr. Naruhodo, I would strongly advise you to look carefully through the court record at this stage. Yes, miss. At once, miss. Sorry I made a mistake, miss. Inspector, continue with your testimony, please. That's the name of the place, isn't it? Yeah. I forgot. But you know, I'm glad I got to see that reaction from him. I just showed you. I got the map out and marked it and everything. Inspector Gregson, may I ask you a favor? What? Would you kindly add the name of the bookshop to your formal testimony, please? I believe it may be of vital importance. Maybe. Oh, well, you know. I mean, yes. It could be very important. It could be a very important clue. Very well. Not that I can see it being of any great significance. Please revise your testimony accordingly, Inspector. Yes, sir, my lord, whatever you say. Could the man be any more sardonic? Aha, well.
Objection.
If I could just stop you there, Inspector Gregson? What is it, Sunshine? I'm a busy man, you know. This is a receipt that we found in Mr. Natsume's room. It was issued on the day of the incident and details the purchase of 3 second-hand books. And you found that in the accused room, did you? Yes, but the point is not where the receipt was found, but the name of the shop printed on it. Go on. This receipt was issued from a bookshop called Your Books. Your Books? Y-O-R-E, I presume? Yes, my lord. So Mr. Natsume did indeed purchase a number of books at a second-hand bookshop that day. However, the bookshop in question was not Bourbon Books. What? Inspector, do you know of this other bookshop? Yes, sir. Your Books is another second-hand bookshop not far from Bourbon Books. It's just that, well, it's such a small place, I didn't think the accused would have known about it. But in fact, that is the bookshop which the defendant visited on the day in question. And this receipt proves it. Yes, for what difference it makes. Wherever the man purchased his musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final analysis. I think it would be really funny if he didn't know how to pronounce the word. It makes no difference in the final analysis. I don't know why I just like making him say stupid things. He's too serious. He's a great character, which makes it all the more fun to dunk on him. Disagree. I mean, after all, I have the street map here if that might be of help. Oh, yes, thank you. Have a look at this, please. The animation is so much longer. It takes so much longer to do than just... Yeah, I think that would be really funny. But who's gonna call him on it? He's the Reaper of the Bailey. Everyone he goes up against dies. Who's gonna say anything to him? No one. That's who. Ain't no one corrected his ass. Nope. Alright, good luck on the fish. Nah, you won't get trash. You'll get, I don't know why I added the yeah sound instead of going to find the compliant sound effect. I think I just wanted to add the emote. If the defendant had been returning from Bourbon Books, then yes, he would almost certainly have passed the place where Miss Green was attacked. However, if we take into account the fact that he was actually at another bookshop, Your Books, it may very well turn out that he wouldn't have passed that location at all. Would that be true?
Oh, it rather depends on what his other bookshop is. I do declare it may be a possibility.
I understand that she's clearly moving her mouth more when she talks, but I'm dedicated to this voice now, and we're continuing with it. Don't at me. Is that right, Mr. Lawyer, sir? What you just said? Absolutely. It absolutely could be right. Inspector Gregson, where is this Your Books establishment? Well, obviously we looked into that. It turns out that Your Books, just here on the next corner of Mearschum Street, going east. Local map information has been updated. There you have it. As you can clearly see now, just, my learned Nipponese friend is obviously in training to be a clown, the way he regales us with such witticisms. Your future career in the circus. Grr, you put that glass down now or I'll put it down for you. Didn't think I need to spell it out, but here we go. If the accused was coming home from Your Books instead of Bourbon Books, there's no doubt he still would have passed the place where the victim was stabbed. Could have gone the other way, but... You, sir, are very clown. I can tell because your stats are basically 0. Yes, thank you, Inspector. Ugh. Allow me to reiterate for my learned, if somewhat slow, Nipponese friend. Ouch. Wherever the man purchased his musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final analysis. That's also one of my favorite. This game is so full of great animations. It just is. As I suspected, you can't fool me, and I don't suggest you try. What did I say? I've had enough of this now. Begging your pardon. Terribly sorry, but would you mind repeating that? Mr. Naruhodo, I can't believe that one of the jury seems to be blind and deaf. It's insane. We mustn't give up. What do you mean? The prosecution's assertion is correct. The members of the jury may well decide that Mr. Natsume is guilty. She's absolutely right. We must think. We must consider the assertion just put forward by the prosecution very, very carefully. The claims Soseki-san must have passed the location of the incident on his way home from your books, but... Objection! The assertion just made by the prosecution is fundamentally flawed. Explain yourself, counsel. Yes, my lord. You can see what I mean from this map. When returning from your books to his lodgings, Mr. Natsume could have followed the route suggested by the prosecution. However, that isn't the only conceivable route to take between the two places. If the defendant used these streets, look what happens. He arrives back at his lodgings without passing the location where the victim was attacked. Talking back to a clown is a fool's errand, of course. However, I feel compelled to point out that that route is what is commonly referred to as the long way round. On a cold winter's night, why would any man choose to take a longer route home? Well, the answer is extremely simple. He wouldn't. In other words, the accused took the obvious route back to his lodgings and is the obvious perpetrator of this crime. But, yes, I've got it. Obviously, we must ask the man himself. Ask Mr. Natsume which route he took home. I have already informed the court of the accused's response to such questioning. He claims he has no recollection. That's right. As I said, the bloke seems to spend his time outside wandering aimlessly from A to B. That day was no exception. He says he doesn't remember where he was or which road he took home. I don't believe this. Thank you, my learned friend, and suggest that we do not waste any more of the court's time by wandering aimlessly around the subject. Pray, turn to the waking sands. But even if that is the case, the defense still... crap. I agree with Lord Van Zeeks, wholeheartedly, and in every way. What? I don't believe it. Does this mean we members of the jury are completely convinced now? It didn't take long. Very well. In that case, I hereby call upon all members of the jury to present your findings to the court.
Guilty!
Guilty.
Guilty! 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 Guilty!
Well. Well. Would appear the jury's leaning is unanimous. And we're dead. To the insightful members of the jury, I applaud your brave resolve. You serve Queen and country admirably. Mr. Naruhodo. No, not yet. This isn't over yet. I still have one last chance to sway the opinion of the jury. I have to tip the balance of those scales the other way. I have to turn this around. Somehow, there has to be a turnabout. Those are the eyes of Quarry, not willing to give up and die. Are they? Now they are, yes. So I presume you intend to wield your rights again in this trial. How dare you use your rights by this country? Rights of the defense written into antiquated British law that should have been buried long ago. Then bury them! Yeah, well, as long as they're not buried, we can use them. Call it antiquated if you will. It's the defense's prerogative to carry out a summation examination if it so chooses. Very well, Counsel. In accordance with the letter of the law, we shall proceed with the summation examination. Members of the jury ready, Mr. Foreman? Of course we're ready. I'm all too familiar with that Nepalese whippersnapper and his Onku's refusal to throw in his alley. Yeah. Very well then. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have determined the defendant to be guilty. Alright. The juror's contentions. For pity's sake, the little Nepalese oddity already admitted it himself, didn't he? No.
If you said that a woman in green crossed before his eyes, why can't it only have been the victim? Why can it only have been the victim?
The man wouldn't have gone around the house on his way back from the bookshop, not in winter. So the poor woman was attacked from behind, was she? How dreadful. I really don't care. Can we just wrap this up now? I got work to be doing.
Your books, yes. Nice shop that, but urban books, nah, worth a visit.
With only minor exceptions, the reasons for finding the defendant guilty are all too clear. When the stabbing occurred, the only two people at the scene were the victim and the accused. The accused himself has admitted to seeing the victim in her green overcoat sink to the ground before his eyes. Furthermore, we have heard from the inspector that the defendant then fled the scene. I must say, I would have ample grounds to convict this man already. Oh dear, even the judge appears convinced of Mr. Natsumi's guilt now. Excuse me. Why did he have to run away like that? And how are we supposed to believe in some phantom attacker that nobody could see? This is impossible. How can I possibly make a case for the defense? Mr. Naruhodo, this is no time for grumbling. If we want to force the trial to continue, yes, I know, I have to turn the tide. I must make the jurors change their minds. Well, 4 of them at least. Exactly. We have no choice but to forge forward. You have the floor, Counsel. Begin your summation examination. Yes, my lord. Just need to keep this trial going somehow, whatever it takes. Come on, Ryunosuke, you can do it. Alright. The defense's rebuttal. For pity's sake, oh wait, we already heard all these. We can press and pit them against each other. Like, 2 of these guys don't even care. Attack from behind.
Hold it!
Excuse me, but aren't you... Yes, that's right. I was in the witness stand myself just 2 days ago. Yes, I had a feeling I knew your face. By the side of it, anyway. If I remember correctly, you're a banker, aren't you? That's right. After the gold rush down under, came back to London for work. It was all going swimmingly until you started fossicking around. Bruce Fairplay was a man of repute. Sorry? I think I've forgotten how you treated me the other day. Oh, yeah. He has no reason to vote against us in any way. You had me and that young hatter pegged as criminals. Oh, well, you know, water under the bridge. Now, there's all sorts of rumors buzzing around, and the police have been badgering me nonstop. If I could turn back the clock... Well, anyway, I don't know about the hatter, but at least I'm in the clear now. Free to make up my own mind about who's guilty and who isn't, and I say whoever you're going for is guilty. Thank goodness. Alright, maybe I might struggle to change this man's mind, given our awkward history. Oh dear, I wonder what became of Mr. First now.
Hold it!
Right then at the time of the incident, the defendant admits to having seen someone wearing a green overcoat walking ahead of him.
Well, quite. That's precisely my point. Clearly, that someone wearing green was the victim. And clearly, that funny little Nepalese man with the disturbing mustache is the culprit.
But let us not forget, madam, the defendant vehemently denies attacking the woman.
Of course he does. If he admits to stabbing her, his life is over. The man is obviously a different-faced coward. Honestly, claiming the woman's sleeping collapsed before his eyes.
Is that racist? If you have a jaundiced liver, don't you turn yellow? Yo, dog, that's racist. Right? That is actually racist. Like, for real. She's just trying to hide it better. If that's a lie, as you're suggesting, did you not think he would have concocted something more credible?
Oh, I really couldn't say. After all, you are foreign. Who's to say what goes through your funny little...
Holy crap, lady! I could tell you what's going through my funny little mind right now, but you wouldn't like it.
I do declare, the man has already made the admission. He himself asserted that there was nobody else around. Surely the conclusion is obvious. No one else could possibly have committed this awful crime.
Ugh.
If no one else could have done it, the accused must be the man. Really, it couldn't be more simple.
The argument is compelling in its racistness, I must admit.
Oh my, you're too kind with it. I see you were also racist.
That went well for her. Ah, yes. Let us talk to juror number 3, Hugh Mann. But you can't deny that there are other routes Mr. Natsume could have taken back from your books. Oh yes, like you drew on the map, you mean. What was it? Calabash Road or something? Precisely. But it seems to me that what counts is whether the little Japanese fellow actually went that way or not. Well, yes, that's true. And at the moment, there's no proof that shows he did, is there? Well, yes, it's true as well. And as I understand it, the accused himself doesn't remember which way he went, does he? Well, yes, that's annoyingly true. Winter nights are dark and cold, so the way I see it, you'd want to get home as quickly as possible. Well, yes. Why is all this true? So really, the only thing that makes sense is that he went home along Briar Road. Ugh, I'm supposed to be convincing you here. I've given it a lot of thought, you know. I didn't just make up my mind on a whim that he did it. I mean, if there was some logical reason why he might have gone to the Calabash Road way, it'd be different. I'd be happy to reconsider my position on the case. Honest, I would. The reason why Soseki-san might have taken the longer way home. Yes, a good reason. I don't imagine you'll be able to sway this young man's opinion with that one.
Hold it!
Whatever's the matter, young man? You're the wife of Mr. Gerard, aren't you? The landlord who rents Mr. Natsume's room? The master's wife? Where did you get that your idea, sir? I'm the maid, you understand? Keeping up that charade. This is going to be awkward. Why didn't you mention this yesterday? That you'd been selected for the jury in this trial, I mean. Well, I was told not to mention it to anyone until the day of the trial, you see. It was in the letter I received. The instructions were very clear, so I'm afraid I had no choice. I see. Anyway, Mr. Natsume, the defendant, takes lodging in your master's house, doesn't he? Yes, that's right. Although he's only been in a little over a week now. And in that time, surely you must have taken stock of his character. Does Mr. Natsume look like the kind of man who would commit a crime such as this? Oh my goodness me, yes, he's just the sort. What? We already knew this! Spending all his time in that dark and dingy room sporting that unscrupulous mustache. Why does a mustache make you a murderer now? Man never speaks, and don't get me started on those shifty eyes. All the neighbors are talking about him. I've heard them, you know. People think he must be building a bomb in there or something. He's reading books! I don't know what you're talking about, Ramen. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I'm definitely not a murderer. I can assure you that. As to the mustache, like, you know, who knows? Who knows? It could be anything. I should shave clean, yeah. Oh dear, poor Mr. Natsume. How could people say such things about him? He's just a harmless bookworm, nothing more. Well, you just called him a worm, so... Anyway, I'd better be careful about inviting this Mead to speak. She said enough damning things already. He just doesn't even care at all, so... A man's life is on the line here, sir. This will take as long as it takes. Don't get clever with me now, son. My life's on the line too, and so is my family's. Ah. Likes of you wouldn't understand, but a laborer like me can't afford to take time off. If I don't work, I don't eat. Neither do the wife and kids. Oh, I see. That must be very hard. Go to the union every morning to find out what needs doing. If you're late and the work's taken, it's tough. This time of year, there's water and gas supply pipes bursting left and right and center. They're after cheap labor to get the roads fixed up. Roads dug up to fix it. It's a hard slog from dusk till dawn. It is. So, you were out digging up the roads on the day of the incident as well, were you? That's right. In fact, if I remember rightly, it was just around the corner from where it all happened. That old bookshop it was. What? Another coincidence. That's right. Meerschaum Street it was. Meerschaum Street? On the map, Mr. Naruhodo, there are only 3 named streets. Juror number 5, I need you to add that information to your formal statement, please. What's the point in that? Can't we just get this business over with now? Please, sir, it's important. Fine, I'll do it then. Alright, so you... deal.
Objection!
These 2 statements are clearly at odds with one another. At odds, counsel? Explain yourself. Please, don't point. It wasn't me, I swear. What? I just want to get this done and dusted. Well, juror number 3? Oh, me, sir? What? What do you mean? Juror number 5's words just now are extremely significant. Let's take a moment to consider the implications of what's been said on our map of the local area. On the day in question, Mr. Natsume visited this bookshop to purchase a number of secondhand books. And on the same day, we now know that there were works being carried out on Meerschaum Street, making it impassable, which means that the defendant's route home could not have taken him along Meerschaum Street and down Briar Road. Oh, yes, of course. What do you think, sir? Well, yes, you can't argue with that, really, can you? We must have had a good 2 yards or more of the pavement up. Every gentleman and gentlewoman that came along had to turn back and go the other way. So, the only conclusion is this. The defendant must have taken the longer road back to his lodgings. Yes, I suppose he must have. I suppose that must be right, eh? Juror number 3, you said the following. The man wouldn't have gone... But, we see now that he had no other choice. I feel like I'm leaning too hard into robot. I don't think he's robotic. I think he's just stock standard generic human male. My lord, Mr. Judge, sir, if I may. Yes. I don't think in all good conscience that I can say the man's guilty now. Yes, I'd like to see this trial continue so we can get to the bottom of what really happened. Yes. What about you, sir? Who? Me? Well, alright then. There's a hole in the prosecution's argument. It should be filled in. That's what I say. Well done, Mr. Naruhodo. That was wonderful. Well, we managed to change a couple of minds at least. It strengthened our position somewhat. Yes, and it will prompt the other members of the jury to reconsider their stances as well. They'll be asking themselves if their current leanings are really right or not. Now, if only we could just identify one more clue or discrepancy that would make them stop doubting Mr. Natsume. We might be able to tip the balance completely. Yes, that's exactly what we've got to do. Ben Seeks is looking to bring this trial to an early conclusion. That's what we have to prevent, but whatever means, we have at our disposal. Thank you, Counsel. On with the summation examination, please. Yes, my lord.
Hold it!
Sorry. Fold it, you said. Fold what?
No. What I said was, hold it. What I wanted to ask was, do you visit your books often?
I like the old books they have in there, yes. I enjoy reading them over a nice cup of old tea. It's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about.
Now, what time did you visit your books on the day in question?
Well, I was picking out books in there all afternoon. It would have been just before 5 that I left. It's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about.
Just before 5, you say? Exactly when the victim was attacked. Are you sure about the time?
Oh yes, no mistake there. I remember it well. I'm about to forget that day in a hurry. Not after the dreadful time I had.
What do you mean?
Well, I was walking down Calabash Road when I slipped on the ice and dunked my head. It's always worse after the snow stopped falling. That's when it's most slippery. Knocked myself clean out, I did. I really thought my number was up.
Oh. Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. This happened on Calabash Road.
That's right. I live in Cornpipe, you see. Edging down Calabash Road is the quickest way for me to get back from your books.
You're number 6. I must insist. If you add that information to your formal statement, it may very well be extremely significant.
Sorry. Extremely sick. No. I'm quite alright now.
You've changed 2 of the jurors' minds, yep. Yes, just 2 more to go. Deliver the finishing blow now! It's time to turn the tables here. What you knew how to do is Sasato takedown. Suppose words will have to suffice for now.
Objection!
Those 2 statements clearly show a flaw in the juror's reasoning. Flaw? What are you talking about, Consul? Well, juror number 2. Juror number 6.
Whatever do you mean, sir?
I think perhaps the old man didn't hear you. Unbelievable. It's not like I was loud or anything. There's at least one fact in which we can be sure here. The bookshop receipt found in the defendant's room clearly indicates that on the day of the attack, he had been to your books and purchased a number of second-hand titles. He then returned home on foot.
But the man says he has no recollection of his return journey.
Correct. But what he does remember is seeing someone appear in front of him on the way. Someone in a green overcoat who suddenly collapsed on the pavement before his eyes.
Yes, we are well aware of all this. The poor young woman who was stabbed, obviously.
Objection!
Can we really be sure of that, madam?
Why? What do you mean?
I'm sure you heard juror number 6's account of what happened to him that day. That same afternoon, there was somebody else apart from the victim. who was wearing a green overcoat and who fell over on the icy streets in the neighborhood.
Oh my.
My goodness, you mean? That's right, I'm referring, of course, to hard of hearing juror number 6.
Are you really suggesting that the person in the green overcoat from the defendant's cell collapsed in front of his eyes? What's a jolly old gentleman at the end of the bench showed me today?
That is entirely possible, yes. After all, the old man has a somewhat similar build to the victim. Well, look at that. My goodness me.
Sorry, you need a pee?
And crucially, we know precisely where the old man in the green overcoat fell.
On Calabash Road.
Therefore, the person who Mr. Natsume saw collapsing in front of him was in fact juror number 6. It means the defendant must have taken the long route back to his lodgings, which we know he did. And if that's true, then clearly the crime scene on Briar Road where the woman was stabbed was not on his way home. I do love the wind up to his point. I feel like Phoenix does a lot of just snap to pose. He's got the heckin' wind up to it.
Oh my.
You idiot, old man. If you hadn't been so daft as to be roaming around there. Excuse me. We'd have boxed this off hours ago. And really, what were you thinking wearing such a befuddling coat?
What did you say to me? Is it a crime for the elderly to walk the streets these days? Is it a crime to slip over on the ice? Is it a crime to keep up with the latest styles or wear a beautiful green overcoat? Is it?
My lord, I do hope it won't cause any inconvenience, but
I'd like to change your leaning, I presume.
I do declare that I would. I should like to call for a verdict of not guilty.
Thank you.
I would too.
What?
Is it a crime to change your mind? Is it? Well, I'm actually asking. I don't remember what crimes are. It's been a long time since I've turned the brain on. And the laws, they change so suddenly.
Well, that summation examination is concluded with a rather large shift in opinion. The ayes 2, the noes 4. So the noes have it. Not guilty, they say. It means we no longer have a consensus among the members of the jury. Let's speak from the heart, yeah. I mean, all of this is an act.
This is my true voice. When you see me on the streets, normally this is how I sound.
Everything else is just, for the camera.
Objection!
Could it seem curlish of me to drink from my hollow chalice moments after raising an objection? Yeah, only to crush it in disgust. Pray, return to the waking sands. Lord Van Seeks! It seems I must retract my earlier remark. What do you mean? I mistakenly credited these jurors with intelligence by describing them as insightful. Yet we have just witnessed them falling for a cheap trick performed by an Eastern entertainer.
Whatever do you mean?
Objection!
I haven't tricked anyone. Everything I've said is the truth. Indeed, stalwart juror number 5 was undoubtedly repairing the road as he claims. I believe you said it was a good 2 yards of the pavement which you had excavated, sir? That's right. It took me the whole day, and they paid me a measly tuppence for it. Now, my learned Nipponese friend, tell me, do you have any notion of the distance that 2 yards represents? Well, if I'm honest, I don't have a clue, no. 2 yards is a little less than 2 meters. Less than 2 meters? That's not much at all. In other words, a distance readily vaulted by anyone of moderate vigor. Which this man isn't. He's a bookworm who barely leaves his house except for to buy new books once a day. I don't know if he's out moderate vigor. Would you not agree, my stalwart friend? Me? Well, I can't say you're wrong now. What? Did you perchance erect a sign to prevent pedestrians from passing the site of your works? I wouldn't dream of it. What a waste of time. No coaches would have had a hope of passing anyway. We just turned any gentlefolk back when they came. Kids just jump right over us all the time. The accused is no gentleman as far as I can see. I have little doubt, however, that he could spring over a 2-yard trench in his meanderings around town. If he doesn't even remember where he went, do you really think he was leaping over stuff? Ah. Is that true? Is it? The incontrovertible truth is that the books just purchased by the accused were found at the scene. We know that there are other reasons why there might be books found at that exact spot. So, there can be no doubt that on his way back to his lodgings, Mr. Natsume walked down Briar Road.
Rushed in a single sentence.
And old man.
Colt, man, you can talk!
You say that at around 5 o'clock in the day in question you slipped and fell on Calabash Road. Pray, was there a suspicious-looking Neepanese behind you at the time?
Oh, I can't say as I remember. I was on the ground, fighting off, unconsciousness, snapping my back into 37 different distinct snaps.
You don't remember? How about a wager, my learned friend? You say it was this old man that the accused saw. I would lay 1,000 to 1 against you being able to prove it. You go into third-person mode, as we all do, yes. Well known. Ordar! Ordar! Lord Van Zeeks, explain yourself. My lord, if you had such a trenchant argument up your sleeve, why in the world did you not proffer it up during the summation examination? I wanted to give this young foreign student the sightseeing experience he no doubt came for. I wanted him to see for himself, but the opinion of the jury is so readily swayed. My hospitality has its limits. They have been reached, I feel. Okay. So, my learned friend, today's sightseeing tour of London is now over. What are you talking about? My lord. He can point with the other hand too! The prosecution requests permission to call its next witness to the stand. He's ambidextrously pointing! This is absurd! He has too much power! Granted, bailiff, bring forth the witness. It's the next witness? Mr. Naruhodo, do you not remember? We've been told on several occasions that there were eyewitnesses to the incident. He can dual wield! Yes, I remember. One of them being a Scotland Yard policeman, no less. I'm afraid that's likely to be the prosecution's next witness. Alright, no matter who Van Zeeks brings to the stand as his witness, and no matter what they say, I believe in Soseki-san. I know he's innocent. And I'll keep believing to the very end, till this battle is over. That is surely a set of people. You know what? I don't think we're hitting a save point in a half hour, or 25 minutes. So this seems like a perfect ending point. This is the perfect leave off point. Because I'm going to forget everything 2 weeks from now. Let's be honest here. I know who I am. I know what I do. I'm going to forget everything except for 3 voices next week, in 2 weeks. We will not be streaming this next week because I will be at a convention. I haven't actually posted in the Discord, but I need to do that. Tomorrow we're streaming something. I don't know what yet. Something. Probably something chill. Not sure what yet. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday I'm off because one is D&D night and the rest of them are the convention. I can't stream Sunday, no. Make a clone of... Ah. Right on it, yes. I do come back from the con Monday. I don't know whether I'll be streaming Monday. Tuesday, we're going to stream the raid. Unless I can stream Monday, I guess then I could do the raid Monday. But I think it's safer to say, if I can stream Monday, I'll still do something else. We'll say for sure the raid will be a week from tomorrow. Viper AI. Yes, clearly. I've been an AI the whole time. But yeah, that's what we got for now. Obviously, big honkin' extra shoutouts to Birdie for dropping the, what month number was it? I've got my stuff here. The 76 month, resubscription, tier 3 resubscription, and everyone in chat, hanging out, having a good time, enjoying some objectionable content. I got ourselves a monster, a quote, a Discord, and of course, objection. Thank you all for tuning in, thank you all for watching. No idea what the hell I'm streaming tomorrow night. We're gonna figure something out. Then I'm on break for a week. Thank you all for tuning in. See you all next time. Yes, old. It hasn't been a decade yet, right? It's, I mean, not drastically far off, but it hasn't actually been a decade. I forget when I actually... We are closer than not. Yes, you're not wrong. Hold on. Now I'm curious. I mean, we're ending anyway, so, like, I'll end the VOD here, but, like... I should be able to check. Because my own videos... I could probably find it. I was gonna just look for my, like, message to viewers way back when. That gives a fairly decent date on it. It was before the Monster Hunter times. Okay. Well, I've got archives up for you from 2016. So, like... True, I was streaming about a year before I could get subs, so... Because the affiliate program wasn't a thing when I started. But yeah, if 2016 sounds about right, that's for you. That's definitely about when I started. It's like year 9. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I feel a bit old. But it's great to be doing something I enjoy for so long. I'm going to keep going, so you know. That said, I'm going to keep going to bed. Once I get some food and probably faff about and like be survivors or something like that first. But you know, bed-ish. Yeah, the amount of people who have been here for well over 2/3 of that long time is insane and phenomenal. Oh yeah, there you go. To be fair, that wasn't the exact... That was pretty much when I swapped to Twitch. Oh yeah, and there's a ramen comment on it from 3 years ago. Yeah, May 13th, 2016. Okay, so yeah, 2016. Ooh, we getting there. Oh, does it have my old intro music? Yeah. Would it blow you away to know that the intro outro was Fiverr done? To be fair, so was the logo, but I stuck with the logo. I honestly, I don't know if I could change the logo at this rate. Like, and the music was just from that same site that everyone gets their free music from. Yeah, I don't remember the name of the site, but it's the same site that everyone gets their royalty-free music from. It's the same one. The logo I've just grown attached to. It works. It works pretty well, even though it was also a Fiverr thing. So, yeah. A Fiverr thing close to a decade ago now. Time is an illusion. To music at the 10th anniversary stream. Yeah, I gotta find the full song. That's just a snippet of it, but it is a full thing. Yeah, you're right. Do you know what? Hold on. We're already here faffing about. Give me a second. I want to see if I have the full thing still saved real quick. I had it. I can't I open? It is unavailable. File Explorer. Give me a second. I think I might have that full thing still around. I might go into streaming. Land. That's it?
Hello, and thank you for checking out
Nope.
the Viperland stream. This is Viper AS.
That is not it. It was an art, maybe? Yeah! Here it is. There you go, full song. I think it is. Hold on. It's very loud, too. I still have it saved. There you go. Yeah, sorry. It defaults to 100 volume. I got it now. And it was on the other monitor, so I had to swap. But yeah, still got it. The full file. Oh, man. And my old banners and everything. Like, I'd save all this stuff. Yeah. You would never believe that I had so many, like, intros and stuff. Yeah, we have the song for the 10th anniversary. Well, so that was just the preview. You get the full thing. You get the full thing then. So much stuff here I tend to forget about. I've got all my old video icons. Yeah. Oh, I got some really old YouTube banners. Yeah. Alright, cool. I'm actually going to end now. Thanks for sticking around for the little extra bonus content at the end. See you all next time. Oh, hold on. I'm going to post this in the Discord, but I don't know if I've ever shown my attempt as a non-artistically inclined person to make my own logo. I don't know if I've ever shown that before. So I'm going to put it in the Discord.